human.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome. John Kobylt Show. We're on again from 3 to 6. And then after 6 o'clock, the podcast for what you missed, John Kobylt Show on demand. And another way you could enjoy the show. You go to YouTube. We are live on YouTube as of this moment. And you can subscribe by going to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Become a member. youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. There's so much important stuff that we need to discuss that I had three different openings for the show that I was struggling with here, but we're going to go with this first. I will tell you that at 5 o'clock, we are going to have Nathan Hochman on. You know how every year, I know, Deborah, you've seen this, you get a news story every year, what the word of the year is.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually like Merriam-Webster, the dictionary people put it out. The word of the year by far here in Southern California is fraud.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that.
I have never used that word fraud more often than I have in the last few months. And here's the latest. Nathan Hochman, the LA County DA. Do you remember a couple of months ago, there was a massive lawsuit settled between LA County and all these victims, 11,000 claims of sex abuse in the county-run juvenile halls, 11,000. And they settled the case, the County Board of Supervisors, $4 billion in tax money, $4 billion. And now Nathan Hochman is asking a judge to stop all the payouts. He thinks 4 out of 5 cases may be fraudulent. 4 out of 5. An 80% fraud rate by people, I don't know, faking claims or otherwise falsifying something. Hochman doesn't think all these people are entitled to money. That is an overwhelming number. 80%. Nathan Hochman's going to be on the show in the 5 o'clock hour, and he'll explain more. Also, in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to have Susan Shelley on, because in the midst of all the fake homeless votes for the fake mayoral candidate, Nithya Raman, there was another crime committed by the nonprofits who were filling out those homeless ballots. They got Measure ER passed. Measure ER was losing most of the week. This is a half-cent sales tax to go to fill some kind of health care claim. You know, they're short on money for health care in the county. Gee, you think there's not a lot of fraud there? So some nutty CEO for St. John's Hospital and all those thieving unions got together and got Measure ER on the ballot to increase the sales tax 0.5%. It was losing, it's losing. And now here come the nonprofits with the fake homeless votes, and now it's winning. Susan Shelley will be on with us coming up after 4 o'clock. Okay. Well, we'll get to this hour's atrocity. Actually, it's actually good news that the Trump administration has suspended the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority from getting any more federal funds. No, and this is great news. Remember, the last leader of LAHSA was Valicia Adams Kellum, and she was run out. Well, for one thing, a couple of $1 billion disappeared, and she couldn't explain it. Neither could Karen Bass. And she was caught sending $2 million to her husband's nonprofit. Then claimed that she never signed those papers. When they found the signed papers, she goes, well, I don't remember doing that. My staff must have just shoved them in front of me. And I said, yeah, really? Because we all do that, right? We all accidentally spend $2 million because your wife or husband shoves paperwork in front of you. Felicia Adams Kellum. She more or less was relieved of her duties by the county. And now the Trump administration is suspending LAHSA, no more federal funds. A letter went from the deputy Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Andrew Hughes, told LAHSA that the federal agency had reason to believe that LAHSA may have violated federal law and the federal funding would be suspended. HUD cannot ignore LAHSA's wanton mismanagement of public funds. Diverting dollars from worthy programs to LAHSA will make the homeless crisis worse. It's about 7% of the budget. Let me read to you from the letter to Jita O'Neill, the CEO. I guess this was the replacement for the disgraced Valicia Adams Kellum, a Bass best friend, by the way. Dear Mrs. O'Neill, dear Ms. O'Neill, your agency, LAHSA, leads the largest federally funded continuum of care in the nation. It is HUD's duty to ensure that this program, the funds, are being used as intended to reduce homelessness. LAHSA's failures have been so severe and pervasive that Los Angeles County has withdrawn its funding for the agency. True. And the city of Los Angeles is considering doing it as well. A federal judge in Los Angeles stated in open court that LAHSA appears to have committed obvious fraud and appointed a monitor to oversee their financial activity. The agency's former CEO, that would be Valicia Adams Kellum, resigned after she and LAHSA violated federal conflict of interest rules by committing $2 million in federal funds to her husband's employer. LAHSA and the former CEO also committed LAHSA-managed federal funds to her own former employer. Yeah, that Adams Kellum lady was something else. These examples are not isolated incidents. They establish a clear pattern. Again, a very close friend of Bass, just like Janice Quinones. And despite all these failures and more detailed below, LAHSA is regularly certified to HUD that it is in compliance with federal law, rules, and HUD program requirements. HUD, listen to this line, HUD has ample reason to suspect that hundreds of those certifications and other statements by LAHSA are false. HUD cannot ignore LAHSA's wanton mismanagement of public funds. HUD's mission is to reduce the plague of homelessness in America, turning over billions of dollars from American taxpayers to an organization under investigation suspected of gross misuse of federal funds and obvious fraud does nothing to reduce homelessness. Well, we have been telling you this for years and years and years. It's what Spencer Pratt was telling you. And the two people in Los Angeles city government most responsible for feeding city tax money to LAHSA is Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. So, of course, they survive into the runoff because the nonprofits who get their money from Bass and Raman, they collected thousands and thousands of homeless ballots, blank ones, and voted in the name of the homeless person. We explained that whole process yesterday in this hour. Listen to the podcast. Took an hour to explain it. So now do you see what's going on? It's an absolute sewer of corruption, and the stupid, dumbass voters, the majority of voters, the ones who were not corrupt, got all hung up whether Spencer Pratt was a reality star, and that was not qualification to be mayor. You got all hung up on that garbage. Meantime, here comes the federal government saying LAHSA is a complete cesspool of corruption and stolen money. Nithya Raman has been chair of the homeless committee for the city council, and Karen Bass has been running the city. They have created the funding and the infrastructure that fed the money to LAHSA. LAHSA then stole it, squandered it, gave it away to friends and relatives. All this stuff we've been telling you for years. It's all true. Why do you think we spent billions of dollars and the homelessness didn't get any better? Why do you think that is? Because it didn't go to the homeless. Why do you think they created this new electoral system where they could sign up people who are probably unconscious the day that their vote is cast? Because remember, the nonprofits find the homeless on the street, get their name, the address will be the address of the nonprofit's office, instead of a signature, they're allowed just to put an X. Either the homeless guy can put an X or the nonprofit person puts an X. The nonprofit person signs their name as the witness. And then when it comes to voting time, if they see Nithya Raman needs a boost, well, they can vote several days after Election Day, put a fake postmark on the envelope, and by law, nobody can check it. And that's why Nithya Raman, who came in third in her own district, ended up with thousands of votes coming out of Skid Row, enough to beat out Spencer Pratt. And it's all legal. That's the big kicker. Like I told you yesterday, the whole thing is legal. So everybody was complaining about the slow voting, and everybody's been complaining about what the definition of fraud is. They legalized the fraud. They legalized it. They have put this system in place piece by piece, block by block, since 2018. The state, Jerry Brown, Gavin Newsom, the Democratic bulletproof supermajority legislatures. And they pulled it off. They did it. And now here we are. The feds are in and basically saying LAHSA is the most corrupt homeless agency in all of America. And this is where all our money went. And now we got Ramen and Bass to look at. You could not write a worse script. It's impossible to conceive of something more corrupt. I was going to call them inept, but actually they've been very good at stealing the money, making it disappear, and then staying in contention for the mayor's race. All right, we've got more coming up. Fasten your seatbelt. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. LA Mayor Bass has come out saying she disagrees with the decision by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to cut that federal funding for LAHSA. A new tax measure could be on the November ballot. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to head over to the 134 next.
If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage. They'll make you a cash offer, no need for repairs. They will close in days. They'll buy your house as is with cash. They might offer you a $10,000 advance to help move. Go read the reviews online. Call for the no obligation offer, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-2747, sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658. Providence Realty DRE number 01915212.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center, Odoo, the only business software you need. Sunny again tomorrow, high 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by America 250. From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Crash on the 134 in Eagle Rock.
That's heading eastbound just before Figueroa Street, where this is taking up the two left lanes. You'll see a busy ride backed up from the 2 and the 55 southbound Santa Ana just before McFadden. There's a crash there. Looks like it's been moved over to the right shoulder, but fire crews still have the right lane blocked. That's slowing you down from 17th Street. And in Ontario, 10 eastbound just after the 15, there's a stall that has the right lane blocked. You'll see traffic backed up from 4th Street. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
This July 4th, celebrate at America's Block Party, a can't-miss concert at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Hosted by America 250, see music performances from major artists, patriotic tributes, and kick off Giving Forth to make it the largest day of giving. Learn more at america250.org.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you'll owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans just like you permanently and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A resolution specialist is waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-511-0719. 800-511-0719. Again, that's 800-511-0719. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
After an accident, one question comes to mind. What happens next? Wilshire Law Firm brings clarity when things feel uncertain. While you focus on healing, we fight for the compensation you deserve. That's what happens next. Call now. 1-800-ABCDEFG. Wilshire Law Firm is in LA.
Hey guys, it's Dasha here. I know everyone is super dialed into the World Cup right now, but let's take a little bit of a closer look. Human trafficking is real and is happening here. So get informed. Visit bluecampaign.gov/World Cup and help break the silence.
Gearing up for summer travel? Then it's time to put that old car in your driveway to good use. Hey, it's Conway, and here's the deal. Donate your car to Cars for Kids in just 2 minutes. Go to carsforkids.org or phone them up, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K. Any condition, they'll take it and tow it for free. You'll get a tax deduction, a 3-day, 2-night hotel stay to use this summer. 2 minutes, free pickup, and a free vacation? Wow. Donate your car today at carsforkids.org or call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K.
Tim Conway Jr.
I go to get my coffee at Dutch Brothers, and a lady comes out, nice young lady, and she asks me what I want. I tell her, and then I go to the next window to get the coffee. She said, "What are you doing today?" And I was like, and I said to her, "Well, what time do you get off?"
What?
And she's like, "What?"
Tomorrow night, 6 to 10 on KFI AM 640.
But you know, they must teach that at the coffee shops, because a lot of times,
well, then they need to teach me how to respond.
More stimulating talk.
Joy is essential, and it's also elusive. But now there's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Joy 101. It's a new podcast hosted by me, Hoda Kotb. If you're craving inspiration to maximize your joy, tune into these candid, uplifting, and moving on-air chats. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Joy 101, and listen now. Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb is presented by CBS.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
The World Cup is getting underway today. U.S. head coach Mauricio Pochettino said the team could feel the fans' energy in the building when they played the warm-up matches last week.
You can feel the fans, how exciting they are. And
the U.S. will begin group play against Paraguay tomorrow. Today, Mexico will take on South Africa, while later tonight, South Korea faces Czechia.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're on from 3 to 6 after 6. John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. And we're on YouTube live right now. Go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow to become a member or to subscribe. Just announced today, we told you a few minutes ago, the Trump administration, the Housing and Urban Development Agency is withdrawing, suspending all the federal funds that come into LAHSA, the LA Homeless Services Authority. And it was pretty strong language that the LAHSA's failures have been severe and pervasive. And really, if you boil it down, a lot of money has disappeared and no good has come from it. Now, did I hear you say that Karen Bass says she agrees with what the federal government did?
No, quite the opposite. She disagrees.
She disagrees. Okay, I'm just a little glitch in my headphones there.
I hope I didn't say she agrees, because it's
no,
she disagrees.
She disagrees. Okay. Good. She disagrees with the federal government suspending the funds because She's responsible for a lot of the money disappearing. She has to disagree with it. She has to pretend that the money is going for something good. If she agrees with the Trump administration, that's admitting that the money has been wasted and stolen. But remember, for her part, and I will keep reminding people of this, when it was time to testify in a civil case about where the money went, she hired 15 lawyers to keep her from testifying. She gummed up the procedure so long that the other side said, oh, the hell with it. So there's something being hidden by Karen Bass. There's something being hidden by everybody at LAHSA. You got the Valicia Adams-Kellum woman. You got this new woman, Gita O'Neill. The money has disappeared. And now they're being called out. Now, here a clown checks in. One of the biggest, most foolish politicians in L.A. is the city council president, Marquise Harris Dawson. He was unfortunately the guy in charge after Bass went to Ghana for the fire, and the deputy mayor for the fire department, Brian K. Williams, was under house arrest in his apartment for calling it a bomb threat to City Hall. So the next one in line to manage things, Marquise Harris Dawson, except he was missing in action the entire time. He didn't show up for hours, and then he sent out an email saying, anything I can do? He's the clown of clowns. Listen to his statement about LAHSA getting its federal money pulled. Last year, Trump came after the immigrants in our city. That would be the illegal immigrants. Not that Marquise Harris Dawson cares about law anymore. He came after the immigrants in our city. Now he's trying to come after our unhoused neighbors. Again, that's a fiction. Christopher Rufo, the investigative journalist, discovered that 2/3 of the people in the streets are not our neighbors. 2/3 come from outside the city. Half come from outside the state. So that is one of those propaganda phrases that's repeated over and over. Garcetti used to use it. Our unhoused Angelenos. No, they're not unhoused. They're drug addicts and they're mental patients. They had a house. In most cases, their family probably threw them out of the house because they're drug addicts and mental patients. And they came here because of all the goodies that we give away. But they keep using the same language, and the dumbasses in the media keep repeating the propaganda because they're all part of the same progressive cult. Like last year, we won't back down. We will stand with Mayor Bass, the County Board of Supervisors, and housing providers to fight these attacks. The county already pulled out. Last year, the Board of Supervisors pulled $300 million out of LAHSA to form their own homeless agency. So what is he talking about? He's such a brain-dead bozo, he doesn't even know that the county already gave up on LAHSA. Catherine Barger, the county supervisor, said HUD's decision is deeply concerning, but it's consistent with longstanding issues identified at LAHSA. Longstanding issues, yes. They steal the money. And she says, my immediate priority is protecting the unhoused individuals. Do they get fined if they don't use that word? Do they get thrown in jail? Like woke jail? My immediate priority, said Barger, is protecting the unhoused individuals who rely on these services. You're not protecting anybody. There's 2,000 homeless people die every year in the streets in LA. 2,000. If you were protecting them, you'd force them off the street. But you're not. You take all this money and you let them die in the street. Oh, and you buy them the meth needles and the crack pipes. No, the meth pipes, the crack pipes, the syringes for the heroin, the syringes for the fentanyl. And looks like it turns out we also pay for the drugs too. Because we're The city and the county are run by all-purpose morons. They'll give you the drugs, the pipes, the syringes, the whole run. All right, we come back after Deborah's news. We are going to... we got Matthew Seedorf from Fox 11. Skid Row homeless people. You got to listen to this story. They're getting cigarettes and money to sign political petitions and paperwork. Isn't that great? Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
As you've been hearing, LA Mayor Bass says she disagrees with the decision by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to cut federal funding for the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA. The department says this decision is based on allegations of fraud and widespread mismanagement. But Bass says while she has concerns about LAHSA and zero tolerance for mismanagement and negligence, cutting federal funds does nothing to house people. She wants HUD to work with the city to provide the necessary funding to reduce homelessness. Evacuations are underway in Compton following a discovery of possible explosives. The LA County Sheriff's Department says the report came in around 1:30 this afternoon. The department says sheriff's officials are investigating. A new tax measure could be on the November ballot. The Secretary of State's office says it's eligible for the election and should be certified later this month. The measure would provide permanent funding for schools and healthcare by extending an existing tax on most six-figure incomes. The tax was initially approved by voters in 2012 and is set to expire in 2031. President Trump has canceled planned strikes against Iran tonight. ABC's Karen Travers says the president claims the U.S. is close to doing a deal with Iran.
Based on the fact that discussions with Iran have been brought to what he says are the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved.
Trump had said earlier the strikes of the past couple of days would continue. President Trump says he plans to nominate Jay Clayton, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York and a former Securities and Exchange Commission chairman, as director of national intelligence. Trump announced the nomination on social media today amid pressure from Congress to name a permanent replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, who announced she was resigning last month. Testing and decontamination are being done at San Quentin Prison because of a possible case of hantavirus.
Officials confirm a 38-year-old male inmate showed symptoms that could be consistent with hantavirus on Monday. They're now awaiting federal and state testing results. San Quentin officials do not believe it was a result of person-to-person contact. The inmate is in stable condition and no quarantine is in place. There are no other suspected cases of hantavirus at the prison. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
We're going to the 405 next.
Okay, got an update on the homeless funding that got pulled. But first, Sweet James, the accident attorneys, our friends, and they'll be your friends if you need them. When you're hurt in an accident, you should know the legal system is rigged. Everything's rigged. You need somebody who knows the system inside and out with the level of experience and care to fight for you when billion-dollar insurance companies refuse to help. Don't fight alone. Your attorneys at Sweet James will walk beside you and tell your story and make them listen. They deliver results that send the insurance companies a message and help you get the maximum compensation and the justice you deserve. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, call your accident attorneys at Sweet James. You pay no costs, no fees until they win. They have an office in Los Angeles. You want to call 800-9-million, 800-9-million, 800-9-000-000, sweetjames.com.
Southland weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog again in the morning. Then it will be sunny. Highs mid-70s to low 80s. Metro LA. Mid-80s to low 90s in the valleys and the high desert. Windy in the high desert. Low to upper 70s at the beaches. Low 70s inland to OC. 90s and windy in the IE. Right now, 80 in Laguna Woods. 84 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Stall on the 405 in the Sepulveda Pass.
That's heading northbound at Moraga Drive. That's taking up the right lane. You'll see delays backed up to Jefferson Boulevard. The 60 eastbound in Monterey Park right at Atlantic. You'll see a crash. That's 5 cars involved there. So heavy traffic. It's going to be blocking the left lane. Traffic stacks up at Indiana Street. And in Long Beach, we have a stall on the 91 eastbound at Paramount Boulevard that has the left lane blocked. That's adding to the delays from the 110. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
June gloom may keep things cool, but termites never stop.
termite droppings, or discarded wings are signs of an active infestation. Call Pacific Coast Termite for a free written inspection. Pacific Coast Termite uses orange oil and Ultraset. No tenting, no move out, and no poisonous gas. Call now and save 10% on termite services. Plus, get a free 2-year warranty. Ask about 90-day same as cash financing on approved credit. Call 800-PACIFIC. That's 800-PACIFIC for Pacific Coast Termite. Some restrictions apply.
Just Food for Dogs, the #1 vet-recommended fresh dog food. Made right here in LA.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
Experience, reputation, and trust matter. If you've been injured, opolaw.com.
This June, pay nothing until 2028 with American Vision Windows. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com.
KFI. The votes are in.
And all eyes are on the races for LA mayor and California governor.
And LA's next mayor is down to 2 choices. The incumbent, Karen Bass, or Nithya Raman. The challenger.
I've seen what these campaigns do to people.
Don't miss any of the coverage as we push towards Election Day.
That's a 5-month marathon of 24 hours a day. It is a nonstop thing.
This is KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
It's going to get real.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. And we're live on YouTube right now. Live on YouTube. Moist Line is tomorrow. Let it rip. Go for it. 877-MOIST-86. 877-MOIST-86. Or use the talkback feature on the iHeart Radio app. All right. We have spent the first half hour explaining how the Trump administration, the Housing and Urban Development Office of Inspector General, they are suspending all the federal money to LAHSA. They have gotten nearly $1 billion in taxpayer dollars over the last 5 years, and it looks to me there's massive fraud, money stolen, disappeared, and of course Karen Bass is outraged at this, as is the clown Marquise Harris Dawson, head of the city council. Well, California Post has a follow-up article now, and here's an apparently they have discovered through an audit a massive amount of missing funds, I think is the way they described it. There was an audit in 2024 of tens of millions in taxpayers' cash that was sent on to LAHSA to give to the homeless agencies. You know, the ones who sign up the homeless so they could collect the fake ballots, those agencies. Out of $50.7 million that LAHSA got from the federal government, the agency could only account for 13.7. You got that? They were given $50.7 million in that's the money that this audit looked into. 13 million accounted for, 37 million unaccounted for. So about 3/4 of the money that was audited, LAHSA couldn't explain where it went. 3/4 of it. And this is what Karen Bass is angry about. And this is what Marquise Harris Dawson is angry about. 3/4 of the money evaporated, lost, stolen, wasted. They can't account for it. Nobody knows. This is the same story over and over again. This is what Spencer Pratt ran on. Again, I understand there's a lot of fraudulent votes, well, legally fraudulent votes. There's a lot of union votes, and those people are just in it for their own profit. They want big raises, and in return, they vote for people like Bass and Raman. I don't care what happens to the city. As long as they get their salaries and their pensions and their health care benefits and all their days off, and as long as they're not required to work, they're going to keep voting for whoever's in power, who's going to give it to them. So those people have no love, no care for the city at all. Then you have all the imaginary homeless people who are voting. So we have to account for that. But then there are the stupidos among us. There are the morons among us. Some of them very educated and very successful. And they looked at Spencer Pratt and went, oh, I would never. Meantime, Bass and Raman is given all the city money to LAHSA. The federal government was giving $1 billion to LAHSA over the last 5 years. The county was giving billions to LAHSA. We have taxed ourselves, I think now 3 times over. And when they do an audit, I don't know where the money went. Oh. I mean, that's just... The Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, said LAHSA's record of fraud, failure, and flagrant mismanagement has abused hundreds of millions of dollars per year. And they're actually reviewing about $2.25 billion in homeless spending. Among the worst offenders were here are the groups. People assisting the homeless, PATH. That name keeps coming up in these fraud stories. $8 million. They don't know where it went. LA Family Housing, $4.5 million. Don't know where it went. Volunteers of America, Los Angeles, $3.4 million. They were given advances to pay providers for homeless services, and because some of the services didn't have money at the time, and they were supposed to be paid back. St. Joseph Center, $2.5 million unrecovered advances. The CEO of LAHSA during that time, Valicia Adams Kellum, also ran that center. This is a massive criminal operation. A massive criminal operation that has stolen billions of dollars from city, county, and federal taxpayers. And it's being uncovered while the idiot voters send in the same people responsible for the fraud. So there you go. There's Raman and Bass. And they reject and mock the one guy who was telling the truth. Let me play you this. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11. Went to Skid Row, and all the vagrants and mental patients there told Seedorf that these fake nonprofits are giving him cigarettes and money to sign things. Play cut 1.
Do you want to speak with us real quick? No. The heart of LA's homeless crisis on Skid Row. What's it like out here?
It's nice. Fun.
It's fun?
Mm-hmm.
Now the center of concerning questions about signature gathering and voter registration.
They're just trying to collect signatures, get paid, and so in return, we'll offer you a few bucks, and there you go on your merry way.
Some say they've never seen it.
No, we have never seen any of that.
It's happening. For sure it's happening.
Others say it happens all the time. How often do you see these signature signer people?
Every day.
People on Skid Row with clipboards accused of offering money or cigarettes in exchange for signing documents.
They will pay you to fill out the petition. Cigarettes, here you go. Money, here you go.
What kind of stuff do they want you to sign?
Just those are like petitions and stuff like that?
It's like promises like housing or, this is for like a new governor or something like that.
What address do people put on there?
Most people use that just right there.
Do they also try to get you registered to vote?
They can, but that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, they have a way to register you to vote.
Earlier this week, Brenda Armstrong pleaded guilty in federal court to paying another person to register to vote, which is illegal. According to her plea agreement, Armstrong spent nearly 2 decades working as a paid petition circulator, oftentimes on Skid Row.
It's the biggest group of mass people, gathered in one place, but also you have the most people who won't do nothing without a dollar because they're half of them on drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Outside LA City Hall, only about a mile away, some people say that they see these signature collectors here as well.
It's that you sign, like you're voting.
You gotta sign as this.
So they give you the name to sign?
everything.
So you're not even giving your own name. According to the California Post, voting records show 1,160 people with a voter registration address here, the Midnight Mission on Skid Row. We asked the LA County Registrar how this could be possible when the shelter has just 120 beds. They say individuals experiencing homelessness may register by identifying a location where they regularly stay.
They have us like a name already set for us, and they just want the little signature.
So they give you names to sign.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Federal prosecutors say their investigation continues as questions grow behind some of those signatures.
I think that it is stupid because most people here on Skid Row have nothing that they can actually use.
Tonight, it's unclear who's getting these signatures and for what. A whole lot of questions remain.
Great report, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11. Oh, that is so good. So you got that? Midnight Mission, 1,160 people live there. They're registered to vote. 120 beds. You ask for why the discrepancy? Oh, well, we can get ballots here for anybody who stays here. No, they go canvass the neighborhood. They canvass the neighborhood. They get people to sign. One guy doesn't know if he voted or not. Wasn't sure. Of course not. One of them actually admitted that half the people there are on drugs. That's probably a low estimate. But Bass and Newsom will tell you, no, it's because they don't have proper housing. That's why they're in the streets. We need to spend more money on housing. No, it's because they're on drugs or they're mentally ill. That's the truth. You know, at the very least, we're going to stop all the lying and the gaslighting. Because Karen Bass and Newsom, Raman, they lie. The homeless people tell you more truth. And these people don't even know who they are. Oh, yeah, they give their names. One of them admitted, yeah, you just make up a name. Yeah, so people with a made-up name register to vote, put the Midnight Mission as their home. Of course, they don't live there. Midnight Mission gets their ballot, and then one of those nonprofit workers, one of those social justice warriors, they fill out the ballot. So you end up with Raman, who came in third in her own district, getting a huge number of votes from Skid Row. All right, we come back. After 4 o'clock, we're going to have Susan Shelley on because some collateral damage in all this is Measure ER. It looks like it passed. That's a half-cent sales tax in LA County. Half-cent sales tax. It was losing the whole time. And then the fake homeless vote came in. And looks like it's winning. So probably another $1 billion is going to be confiscated from us, stolen from us for health care, whatever, sure. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. As you've been hearing, the Department of Housing and Urban Development suspends federal funding to the LA Homeless Services Authority, and the body of a 5-year-old girl who was swept into the ocean in Laguna Beach has been found. We'll have more at the top of the hour. We're going to head over to the 10 next.
Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, you're done. And you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Your business runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risk. And that's why I'm introducing SuperSure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency built for you. It's licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access their tools like fine print facts, and that translates your current policy into plain English so you can see what's covered and what's not. Plus, a business value calculator to estimate what your business is worth so you know exactly what needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. It's one super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Crash on the 10 in Ontario.
That's heading eastbound just before Euclid. You'll see that taking up the 2 right lanes. Traffic stacks up as you approach Central. Eagle Rock, we still have a crash on the 134 eastbound just before Figueroa Street that has the carpool and left lane off limits. You'll see traffic jamming up as you approach Glendale Avenue. And then the Sepulveda Pass on the 405 northbound Moraga Drive. Stall there has just been cleared out of the right lane. Still seeing a busy ride as you make your way from Jefferson. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
This is Eric Dickerson. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Fiji Airways.
Rams coach Sean McVay canceled next week's mandatory minicamp after finishing up their voluntary practices on a high note today. New Kings coach Peter Laviolette is planning to upgrade the team's offensive system, believing he can get more out of LA's defensemen. Phil Mickelson has reportedly been banned from his home country club after allegedly having inappropriate contact with an employee. I'm Frank Garrett.
Fiji Airwaves early bird sale is happening now. Fly nonstop from LAX to Fiji from just $3.99 one way. Book now at FijiAirways.com. Conditions apply. Fiji Airways, where happiness takes flight.
This report is sponsored by Orderly Meds, affordable GLP-1s. Struggle with weight loss? OrderlyMeds.com/radio offers doctor-guided access to options like semaglutide and tirzepatide, often up to 50% less, delivered to your home. Visit OrderlyMeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary. Eligibility required. See site for details.
Car in the shop again? If your vehicle's been repaired multiple times for the same problem, you may qualify for a refund or replacement. Visit LemonWins.com.
0% APR, no payments for 90 days. Trophy Kia of Carson. KiaofCarson.com.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your gut.
America's 250th anniversary is a big event. And if you're promoting a business, your advertising plan needs to be bigger than one channel. iHeart can help you message across podcasts and radio up to the July 4th weekend. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com.
Would you take 15 seconds to say 15% to freshen your breath? That's going on right now at Zellman's. Go to Zellman's.com and use the code SAVE. The benefits: confidence, no lingering food breath, convenience, freshness after meals or social situations, no garlic hangover. So how about the negatives? Actually, I can't think of any. Zellmans.com, that's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, the FIFA World Cup is here. And why does the U.S. even participate? We've never had a world-class men's soccer team, or a star for that matter, but there's a good reason why. Because we suck. That's why. And that's coming up tomorrow morning after 7 on the next Bill Handel Show.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It is the John Kobylt Show. Follow us at John Kobylt Radio on social media, at John Kobylt Radio. And we're live on YouTube. Hello there, live on YouTube. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. You can subscribe or become a member. Susan Shelley will be with us shortly after Deborah's news. Measure ER in LA County. Looks like it's passed. It's another half-cent sales tax. 10 1/4. 10 1/4. For sales tax, just for starters. And then some cities add on even more. And listen to this. California Post has another story today. Our friend Jamie Page over there. She has found a number of families who they had a death in the family. And even after filling out all the paperwork to inform the county of that death, they were still getting primary election ballots. Here's an example. One LA resident, Steve Brown, followed every instruction to election officials. His wife, Lisa, died in 2021. Steve reported her death, submitted the paperwork, sent a copy of her death certificate. 5 years later, she's still getting ballots at an address that the couple had moved from years ago. And he's exhausted by this. He goes, it's a lot of work. You do what they tell you to do, and the ballot still comes. A review this past year of 2 million California voter registrations found at least 94,000 dead people. All you got to do is compare it to the Social Security death index and obituary records. They also found 57,000 potential duplicate voter registrations across state lines, 3,000 same address registrations, 7,600 placeholder or fictitious birth dates. Every one of these ballots can be in play. Whoever gets one could fill it out. Oh, another thing I read the other day. You know, they have some kind of scanner to see if the signatures match. All right, let's play a guessing game. What do you think the setting is for from 0 to 100% to match signatures?
I have no idea.
I think of it. Like if you were designing a system to definitively match signatures for an election between your driver's license signature, let's say, or your registration signature and the one on your ballot, what should the sensitivity level be?
I think it should be very high, 100%.
It's 40%. Not making that up.
But you know what?
You fake a signature and you're 40% right.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But my signature sometimes is different. And I have to remember, what did I do on my driver's license to make sure that I match on, when I'm filling out the ballot? Because sometimes I do change up my signature. That's just me.
Why?
I just do.
So, like your hairstyle? I mean,
yeah, you know how some days my hair is a little crazy and other days, it's just,
Well, I suppose that's why they don't have it at 100%, because people's signatures are inconsistent. But 40%?
That's low.
Because that means those nonprofit workers, if they want to replicate a signature, just have to get it 40% right, which is probably pretty easy to do. You just have to. Here's another woman, Pia Altavia. She gets election ballots for both her dead husband, who died 2 years ago, and her dead father, who died 5 years ago. So she gets 3 ballots in the mail.
And if she knows how to sign that signature to match, right, then there you go.
And she could vote 3 times. Let's see, another one. Alex Reynolds' mother died last year, filed the death certificate, and then the ballot arrived anyway. No, nobody in that registrar's office cares. I mean, it's more fun to say they're incompetent boobs and stupid, and they probably are, but actually they don't care. And take all these stories, multiply them by the thousands, because this is all day, every day. I mean, I saw the photos of the people who work there. Well, one day when the Post took photos, there was nobody there. But then the next day they were there after they got caught, and it's like, oh, geez. What do you think we're going to get out of this operation, huh? Yikes. Intelligent, talented people do not go to work at low-level government jobs, okay? It's basically a holding facility for people who are unemployable in the private sector. And that's much of the government, just a holding pen for the unemployable. So they don't go home and shoot up drugs and get loaded every night. We come back, Susan Shelley, and she is with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. She also writes columns for the Southern California News Group, like the Orange County Register and the LA Daily News. And she's going to talk about Measure ER, which was dead for most of the week, most of election week, and then got revived.
Rose from the dead.
That's right. And all those fake homeless ballots pulled Measure ER along. I guess that was one of the mandates that was handed down to the fake nonprofit workers who were filling out the ballots for the fake homeless people. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Money cut off. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has suspended federal funding to the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority.
The move essentially cuts off millions of dollars to the LA region over allegations of fraud and mismanagement. HUD Secretary Scott Turner announced that under President Trump's leadership, HUD will fund results, not corrupt failure or the homeless industrial complex. LAHSA says this could put thousands who were homeless back on the street, and that it appears to be a blatant attempt to pull yet more resources from Los Angeles, a city they've targeted time and again when it's clear LAHSA's either corrected or is in the process of correcting nearly all the issues raised. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
The LA County DA's office will ask a judge next week to delay for at least 6 months any payments for a more than $4 billion settlement over allegations of childhood sexual abuse at probation camps and facilities. DA Hochman says as many as 80% of the damage claims may be bogus. The Board of Supervisors approved a $4 billion settlement in April last year involving about 11,000 claimants. Nathan Hochman is going to be on with John after the 5 o'clock news. The body of a 5-year-old girl who was swept into the ocean in Laguna Beach has been found. That girl was with her mom and brother when a powerful wave dragged them into the ocean from the shoreline Tuesday night. Bystanders did rescue the woman and the boy, but the girl was swept away. Police found her body this morning about 250 to 300 yards offshore from Christmas Cove, roughly a quarter mile from where the family had been swept into the ocean. LA Mayor candidate Nithya Raman has given some credit to a former candidate.
Spencer Pratt tapped into very real frustrations that people are facing here in this city.
Raman held her first press conference since moving on to the runoff against Mayor Bass in November and pledged to deliver on changes.
I share that frustration. And I think we can use this moment and we can use this campaign and we can use a new mayor in City Hall to demand that change and to deliver that change for Angelenos.
Political analysts say once Pratt was out of the race, Bass became the more conservative candidate for mayor. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
The Pasadena Police Department has released dash cam video of an accidental police shooting.
It happened last September inside the Pasadena police parking garage. One officer drove up to another officer who drew his gun. The officer in the squad car then drew his gun, which accidentally went off as he was reholstering it. The bullet went through the windshield and hit the other officer in the shoulder. Pasadena Police Chief Eugene Harris calls it a horseplay incident. He says the officer who was shot has since recovered and disciplinary action has been taken. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
President Trump has called off tonight's scheduled strikes against Iran, saying he believes a deal could be signed with Iran in the next few days.
We have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape, so we'll see.
Qatari officials say they also believe the deal is very close as the mediators have made some breakthroughs. You might have seen the signs on the freeways. Caltrans wants you to use public transit tomorrow.
So Metro's World Cup Enhanced service has direct bus service directly to the stadium.
If you're heading to SoFi or the fan zone at the Coliseum, Colleen Park from Caltrans says Metro's made it real simple. If soccer's not your thing, you could still be impacted if you need to get to LAX or Inglewood, but you won't have to worry about any construction projects.
Yes, construction projects that are happening on routes that we've identified will be impacted by the matches will be temporarily paused.
Will Kohlschreiber, KFI News.
The FIFA fan zone will open again tomorrow at 11 a.m. At 6 o'clock tomorrow, the U.S. takes on Paraguay at SoFi Stadium. And Coors has solved the age-old problem of getting off the couch for a second or third beer.
Coors Light has introduced a limited edition Taller Boy. The 18-inch double-walled canister holds and insulates 3 12-ounce cans of beer. It's part of the beer brand's campaign for the 2026 World Cup. The can still says Coors Light on it, but the Coors has 14 O's in it, I counted, inspired by soccer announcer Andres Cantor's signature call when there's a goal. The Taller Boy's for sale only on Coors Light's website for $30 and does not include the beer. There's a limit of 1 per customer, but if you need 2 of these, you might have a drinking problem. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
We're going to head over to the 110 next.
Lasting Smiles, dental implants. Look in the mirror Your mouth is disgusting. Your teeth are all rotted and decayed, and your gums are infected. And now summer is here, and you don't want to upset people. This is the time to transform your smile with the Lasting Smiles Summer Smile Special. You got that? So you got missing, damaged, rotted, decayed teeth, and you've been putting off dental implants because of the cost. I'm going to tell you what to do here. At Lasting Smiles, you have decades of experience, cutting-edge digital technology. You'll receive a free comprehensive dental exam with full 3D imaging. Payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. So this could be affordable, $149 a month. And you'll be able to eat the foods you love again and smile nicely in photos and enjoy life. Call and mention KFI or John. Mention KFI or John for the Summer Smile Special. Payments low as $149 a month. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
Southland weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog again in the morning, then sunny. Highs mid-70s to low 80s. Metro LA. Mid-80s to low 90s in the valleys and the high desert. Windy in the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. 90s and windy in the IE. Right now, 77 in Tustin, 64 Laguna Beach, 89 in Chatsworth. It's 85 in Van Nuys. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supersure, supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform. All your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 930, S&P 500 up 127, and NASDAQ up 640. Crash on the 110 in downtown LA.
That's heading northbound just before 6th Street. That's taking up the left lane, adding to the busy ride from about Florence. And if you're on the 134 eastbound in Eagle Rock, just before Figueroa Street, still looking at the crash there that has the carpool and left lane off limits. You'll see a heavy ride coming away from the 5. Traveling northbound on the 5 in Santa Clarita, just before the 14, we have a stall there. Taking up the right lane, you're seeing some slowing backed up from Van Nuys Boulevard. And the 91 eastbound in Anaheim, right at Euclid, you'll see a crash blocking the 2 middle lanes. You'll see some stop-and-go traffic backed up from about the 5. And as you travel on the 405 northbound, that's going to be in Irvine, just after the 133, slowing from there until you get to Fountain Valley. Starts to clear up right around Harbor. And in Ontario, 10 eastbound, just before Euclid, there's a crash involving a semi-truck that has the 2 right lanes closed off, slowing you down from Central. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Hey guys, it's Dasha here. I know everyone is super dialed into the World Cup right now, but let's take a little bit of a closer look. Human trafficking is real and is happening here. So get informed. Visit bluecampaign.gov/World Cup and help break the silence.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
Termites are one of those things we tend to put off. E. coli is here to protect your most expensive investment, your home, your family, and the environment. You might have heard of Sue Fries, the termite lady. She's the owner of E. coli Termite and Pest Control. Now, they've been protecting Southern California homes for more than 40 years. So if you have a termite problem, that's who you want in your corner. E. coli offers eco-friendly treatments that are tough on termites, but gentle on kids, pets, and anyone who's sensitive to chemicals. And if you're not planning on selling your house, they'll come out and inspect your home for free. And with all the heat we've had over this last month here in Southern California, it's perfect breeding grounds for termites. E. coli has been recognized as one of the top pest control companies in North America by Pest Control Technology magazine. So if you suspect a termite problem, you must act fast. So call E. coli at 1-800-332-BUGS. 1-800-332-2847. 1-800-332-BUGS.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena, streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And you can be there
for a weekend full of superstar performances. Capital One cardholders, pre-sale is live right now.
Your first access to iHeartRadio Music Festival tickets.
Plus the chance to add an access pass for an exclusive pre-concert event
with Weezer.
48 hours while they last. Get yours at iHeartRadio.com/Capital One.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. And after 6, John Kobylt Show on Demand, the podcast. Last hour, we went through the Trump administration pulling a huge amount of money, all the money from LAHSA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, because of severe fraud. Lots of money disappeared. So listen to the 3 o'clock hour on the podcast. Next hour, it's nothing but fraud. Next hour, Nathan Hochman's coming on. Do you remember a few months ago, there was this big settlement. LA County settled for $4 billion, 11,000 sex abuse claims. People who claim that they were sexually abused while in juvenile confinement. Hochman wants to stop the payments. He thinks 80% of them, 4 out of 5, are fraud, are fraudulent. 4 out of 5? What the hell? So that's next hour. Right now, we're going to talk with Susan Shelley about Measure ER. Yes, as an emergency room, as in money for county health care. There was a measure to raise the sales tax another 0.5% to 10.25% in LA County. And there's a lot of cities in the county where the rate's going to be even higher because the city adds on more taxation. 10.25% is just so outrageous. It was started by a hospital CEO and, of course, the greedy, insufferable unions. But it was losing. It was losing for most of the election counting period until the fake homeless votes started coming in. And the nonprofit employees who were filling out the ballots not only filled in Nithya Raman's name, I guess, they, as an extra kick, they voted for the tax. And we'd like to thank all these people. God knows how many votes were cast by relatively few people, workers for the nonprofits. Boy, I don't think there's a way to find that out. Let's get Susan Shelley on. Susan writes news columns for the Southern California News Group, like the Orange County Register, LA Daily News, and is also an official with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Susan, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, John.
Before we get into this Measure ER, it seems every other story that I'm doing has the word fraud in it on all levels, in all categories. What's going on?
Well, the Trump administration has started an anti-fraud task force. And of course, when they bring the IRS and the Treasury Department into it, and HUD and all the other federal agencies that hand out money, they can find everything. So all these audits that we've talked about in the past, where they always say, oh, well, we can't find the records, we can't establish anything, no one knows, it's inconclusive. Well, if you're transferring money, if there's a wire transfer, if it's going into a bank account, the IRS and the Treasury Department know about it. And so this is for real. All of these investigations that they're doing, including into the in-home supportive services system in Los Angeles. Similar to the hospices, there's an awful lot of agencies doing this. And they think that some of them are fraudulent. Maybe many of them are fraudulent. And guess what? Guess who sponsored the advertising for Measure ER? Would you believe? The union that represents in-home supportive service workers.
And in-home supportive service is when family members get paid by the state at a union wage to take care of relatives, except sometimes those are fake relatives that don't really exist.
Right. And they're all union members. You have to be in a union to do this work as a family member. And here's the thing in campaign finance law that ties into this. There's a thing called member communications. The union can send member communications, texts, phone calls, mail, email, to all the members of the union that's not reportable as a campaign contribution. So there's no record of it at all. So what could happen hypothetically is the union, which is very strongly backing Measure ER and paying for part of the campaign, they could send a memo out to all their union members and say, wow, make sure that the people you're caring for vote in this important election. And how many are there? It looks to me like there's about 280,000 people in LA County who are in this situation with an in-home supportive service provider. 280,000.
And who
And when
knows
you're
what their
sitting there watching
physical
those-
and mental condition is to actually know what they're voting for. And I guess the caretaker, they can just grab the ballot and sign it and vote for whoever they want in the name of their family member.
That's right. They could. And that could be perfectly legitimate, or it could be manipulated so that the ballots are all delivered to the union and the union delivers them late. That's possible too. But we don't know because there are no records on any of this ballot harvesting.
It just seems like
about ballot harvesting.
Yeah, it's anarchy now.
Yeah.
And this has been building up for years.
This is the largest union in California. I was shocked to see that. 500,000 members of the in-home supportive services union, which also represents people who are in care facilities, people who work in skilled nursing facilities, assisted living. So essentially everybody who needs help filling out their ballot is represented by this union, which is so, let's say, progressive, radical, that it's right on its website. It says its mission is to disrupt the unjust status quo. What can you even say about that? Disrupt, instead of caring for people or worrying about lunch breaks, they want to disrupt the unjust status quo, and they're harvesting ballots.
Oh, all right. When we come back, can you stay another segment? Because we haven't even gotten to this tax increase, this half-cent tax increase, Measure ER. Susan Shelley, she's with the Howard Drivers Taxpayers Association, also writes a column for the Southern California News Group. And when we come back, we will talk about Measure ER, which was losing all along. And then in the final days of counting, surged ahead with about 50.5% of the vote. And it looks like it was surging at the same rate as Nithya Raman was, with all those late ballots from the homeless nonprofit employees. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. Bail has been denied for the man accused of torching a big warehouse in Ontario. And Southern California could be in for a particularly wet winter. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to the 5 next.
AI is getting smarter every day, and the hackers are using it too. They're breaking into systems, your bank account, your retirement, your savings. Most of it exists as numbers on a screen. And the more digital everything gets, the more exposed you are. That's why smart investors are turning to Noble Gold Investments to secure physical gold that you can hold in your hand or in a tax-advantaged retirement account. Protect what you've worked for at noblegoldinvestments.com. Mention my name, John. Get a free gold coin with a qualified account. noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Stall on the 5 in Santa Clarita.
That's heading northbound just before the 14. It's stuck in the right lane. You'll see delays backed up to about Van Nuys Boulevard. And as you travel on the 91 eastbound in Anaheim, right at Euclid, looks like a crash has been cleared out of the 2 middle lanes. Traffic slowly recovering as you come away from Beach Boulevard. And we're still seeing a stall on the 215 in Riverside. That's southbound right at Box Springs Road. That has the middle lane off limits. Your drive jams up at the 9160 interchange. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Sarah Spain for iHeart Women's Sports. Presented by Capital One. The Toronto Scepters have announced Pascal Rayom as their new head coach after previous coach Troy Ryan left for the new PWHL San Jose expansion team. Rayom was most recently an assistant coach in the American Hockey League and played 9 seasons in the NHL, including for the Stanley Cup winning New Jersey Devils in 2003. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts. Capital One is a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports Network. With the Capital One Spark Cash Plus card, you earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase for your business. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus for details.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Just Food for Dogs, the #1 vet-recommended fresh dog food, made right here in LA.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, How can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Years of early mornings, every weekend, every holiday, all for one dream, to play on the LPGA Tour. She finally turned pro. Now, she just needs a stage worthy of her talent. Next Golf is that stage, a professional women's tour in Florida built to give these athletes the runway they've earned. Support her journey at nextgolf.com/support. That's nxxtgolf.com. Play it forward.
1877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
I am looking at this dish that I'm going to taste right now. It's sexy as hell, for one. It screams rustic, delicious. Yeah. The minute you see it, you say, not only is that beautiful, but I want that in my pie hole right now.
The Fork Report with Neil Saavedra. Saturday afternoon at 2 on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Everyone's talking about the FIFA World Cup.
But did you know the only place to hear the action for free is iHeartRadio?
What on earth have we just witnessed? iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026
live.
Can you believe it?
Every unforgettable moment.
Wherever you are.
Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
Just search World Cup.
And don't miss the U.S. men's team's first match Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
The world will be listening.
How about you?
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
Team Mexico off to a winning start in the 2026 FIFA World Cup following a 2-0 win over South Africa in Mexico City. Julian Quiñones scored the first goal of the tournament.
And there's a early goal for the Mexicans. Quiñones.
Team USA will take on Paraguay on Friday in LA in their World Cup opener. Canada faces Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Everybody wants to beat the market and coast into retirement.
You SpaceX investors are about to get your chance.
How you can still cash in. Tomorrow on Monks and Merrill, on air and on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show continues. Moist lines tomorrow. Gee, anything upset you this week? 877-MOIST-86. 877-MOIST-86. Or use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. We are live on YouTube. If you want to watch this. Let's go back to Susan Shelley, staying on here. She's with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association and a columnist for the Southern California News Group, papers like the Orange County Register and Los Angeles Daily News and a whole bunch of other suburban papers. Susan, Measure ER was losing, and this is a half-cent sales tax in LA County. It goes for health care. Now it is winning by a small margin, and it looks like it's the same phenomenon that propelled Nithya Raman in. Explain to people, and I know many people listening either voted for it or against it, but who knows if they're aware of what it was. Can you tell us specifically what the money is supposed to be used for?
Well, here's the gimmick. It's a general tax, and the money can legally be spent on anything. So even though they had a spending plan, it's only their intent to spend the money that way. They don't have to. And even though they have oversight, what are they going to do? All they can do is watch, because it's legal to spend the money on anything. And why did the Board of Supervisors do that? They did it because a general tax only requires a simple majority. And if they actually dedicated it to health care, if it was really going to be spent legally enforceable on health care, it would have needed a 2/3 vote. And I guess they just didn't have enough ballots to get all the way up to 66.7%. So they got to 50.6 is where they are, and they declared it. They said they passed it.
They need more homeless people to get more fake homeless ballots. So they don't have to spend it on health care. So this whole premise could be a fake. Are they required to spend anything on health care, or could it all go into the big black hole?
They could spend it on limousines and office redecoration and lunch and any legal purpose, any general purpose. It's going into the general fund, and the rest of it is all just voluntary. They might spend it on healthcare. They might not.
What a racket. Another scam.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
None of this gets publicized.
In the fall, there's going to be on the November ballot the Howard Jarvis initiative to save Prop 13. And the part of Prop 13 that we're saving is the 2/3 vote requirement for special taxes. Now, it won't affect something like this where it's really a general tax. That's just a fraud. We should call the FTC or somebody about that.
Yeah.
But what it will fix is this crazy loophole that the courts created where if it's a special tax not put on the ballot by the Board of Supervisors, but put on by a, quote, citizens group with signatures on petitions, then the 2/3 doesn't apply. The whole Constitution doesn't apply. And we're going to shut that down. A special tax needs a 2/3 vote. As far as these general taxes faking their way to being a special tax, I don't know what we can do about that except try to educate the voters. This is really tough.
Yeah, and it's put on by groups that are their employees, for the unions are going to benefit from it. And then you have this whole homeless ballot scam. I mean, they got us boxed in every which way.
A lot of it is legal, but the part that's not legal, I don't know if they could ever prove it or find evidence, but the part that's not legal is filling out somebody else's ballot and forging their signature, even if it's an X. That's not legal. So if anybody has seen that, or if anybody has seen coercion, where a voter is coerced or bullied or threatened or intimidated into signing something, whether it's a registration form or it's a ballot or whatever, or harassed into turning over their ballot, that's a crime. And it might even be a federal crime. So if you have any evidence, if you witness that, then you should definitely contact the federal authorities, Bill O'Saley's office. Look for him online or call the FBI, because that is, if there was evidence, if somebody had witnessed it, then that is illegal.
So what is the total amount of money if this half-cent thing goes through? Is that like $1 billion?
It's $1 billion every year. It's $1 billion a year. On top of, if you remember from 2 years ago, the sales tax increase for homeless services, which was a half cent, also $1 billion a year. That one's permanent. This one is supposedly only 5 years, which only means exactly. They'll put it on the ballot again to extend it.
Wow. And this disproportionately hurts low-income and middle-income people.
Exactly. And it hurts small businesses because if people want to go to a restaurant in Orange County, it's going to cost them less than in Los Angeles. So, where people are close to the borders of another county, they could certainly shop elsewhere and not have to pay that.
10.25% in LA County.
Yes. And the city firefighters are trying to add another half cent this November for the fire department. So that would be 10.75 in the city of LA.
Can I put something on the ballot to raise a half-cent sales tax for me?
You know what you can do? You can put something on the ballot to repeal these taxes. That is a right you have under Prop 218, Section 3, from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association in the Constitution since 1996. You can repeal any tax, charge, assessment, or fee.
We need a clean out. Yeah. I mean, that's actually something that needs to be done, and just repeal a whole category of taxes here. Like all the recent sales tax increases over the last, I don't know how many years, starting with the homeless nonsense. All right. Well, Susan Shelley, thank you very much for coming on again.
My pleasure. Thank you, John.
All right. Susan Shelley, Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and also writes columns for the Southern California News Group. Coming up after 5 o'clock, we're going to have Nathan Hochman on. Nathan Hochman is the LA County DA. And do you remember a few months back, the LA County supervisors, by the way, I should mention their names because they're behind a lot of they're behind all these county sales tax increases, whether it's for the homeless or this one we were just talking about, the fake one for healthcare. And they were the ones who made the settlement. And it's I mean, it's 5 women, and they're just idiots. And they just concoct these stupid tax increases with fraudulent campaigns and all kinds of misdirection and lies. And it's Holly Mitchell and Hilda Solis and Janice Hahn and Lindsay Horvath and Catherine Barger. And I tell you, you can't find a worse crowd. And how they keep getting reelected when they just jack up the taxes and steal the money and solve nothing. Unbelievable. All right, we come back. Guess which state gets about 80% of illegal alien healthcare funding? I believe it's just healthcare funding. But the category is 80% goes to one state. I know, you're going to be shocked when you find out. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Bail has been denied for the man accused of torching a massive warehouse in Ontario.
29-year-old Shamel Abdul Karim is accused of setting multiple fires in the million-square-foot Kimberly-Clark warehouse in April and recording himself on video doing it.
There goes your inventory.
That's from NBC4, which reports he was busted after investigators looked through social media videos and statements he made after the fire, which caused an estimated $500 million in losses. Abdul Karim was an employee of a third-party logistic partner that operated the warehouse. His attorney asked he be released on $2,000 bail. Nope. His next hearing scheduled for August 26th. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
Warnings are in effect over unusually high waves and dangerous surf at the beaches in LA and Orange counties.
LA County lifeguards are advising anyone planning to get into the water to check with a lifeguard first. A high surf advisory is in effect until 8 tonight for LA County beaches, the Malibu coast, and Catalina Island. Large breaking waves of 4 to 7 feet are possible, with 8 to 12 feet in the Malibu area. In Orange County, a beach hazard statement is still in effect through this afternoon, with forecasters saying sets of up to 9 feet are possible on south-facing beaches. Eileen Gonzalez, KFI News.
Southern California could be in for a particularly wet winter, with forecasters predicting a 63% chance of a powerful El Nino, which could rank as one of the strongest in the past 75 years. That traditionally means dramatically increased precipitation in the region. An early poll suggests Democrat Javier Becerra is heavily favored to beat Republican Steve Hilton in the November runoff for governor of California. Hilton says California desperately needs change, and Becerra is more of the same.
I shudder to think what will happen to California if this guy wins. We are heading for the cliff, and we've got to turn away from it before it's too late.
The UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies and LA Times poll shows Becerra is supported by 52% of likely voters, while Hilton is polling at 31%. The survey was done before the primary election. President Trump says a peace deal with Iran is close. ABC Stephen Portnoy says Trump has backed off launching planned strikes on Iran tonight.
The president has just spoken to the Prime Minister of Israel, the heads of Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia. He said the Strait of Hormuz will be open.
The Qatari delegation left Tehran this morning following talks with Iranian officials conducted in coordination with the U.S., saying the deal is very close as mediators have hit some breakthroughs. Heading over to the 405 next.
I've been telling you about Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A. They're offering $100 off the Byrna LE Gen 2. You're wondering what that is? I'll tell you. Go to Byrna.com to get yours while supplies last. Byrna.com. You might already own a firearm, already have a gun. But before you pull the trigger, think about the financial, legal, and emotional weight of taking that action. There's a smarter option, Byrna. FBI says less than 0.01% of all altercations required a lethal response. So you might have a safety plan that includes a gun, but that's necessary way less than 1% of the time. With Byrna, no permits or background checks are needed. The Byrna launcher has powerful deterrents like tear gas and kinetic rounds with a 60-foot range. And one shot can incapacitate the bad guy for up to 40 minutes. Byrna offering $100 off the Byrna LE Gen 2. Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com. Get yours while supplies last. Byrna.com.
Southland weather from KFI. Low clouds and fog again tomorrow morning. Then it will be sunny. Highs mid-70s to low 80s. Metro LA, mid-80s to low 90s in the valleys and the high desert. Windy for the high desert. Low to upper 70s for the beaches. Low 80s inland OC. 90s and windy in the IE. Right now, 73 in San Juan Capistrano, and it's 78 in Stanton. Stall on the 405 in West LA.
That's heading northbound just before Wilshire Boulevard. It has the right lane taken away. It's adding to the delays backed up from about the 90. 91 westbound in Anaheim, right at East Street. There's a crash blocking the second lane from the left. That's slowing you down from the 57. If you're on the 210 eastbound in Redlands, just after San Bernardino Avenue, there's a crash there. 2 left lanes blocked off. You'll see some slowing from 5th Street. with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Pedro Moreno.
Lasting Smiles dental implants. You got a rotted, decayed smile. You got missing teeth, discolored teeth, broken teeth, crooked teeth. You can transform it with the Lasting Smiles Summer Smile Special. Dental implants. You'll get a free comprehensive dental exam, full 3D imaging, and a custom treatment plan. Payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. $149 a month. Mention KFI or John and get the Summer Smile Special. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
The LAUSD Division of Adult and Career Education offers over 100 free career training courses in high-demand fields. We also offer in-person and online classes in citizenship, English as a second language, and high school diploma. Your future begins with adult education. Visit adulted.lausd.org or call 213-241-3150. See you in school.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Lose the weight. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
If you run a business, consider this. 77% of Americans say our nation's 250th birthday is an appropriate time to celebrate. That gives you the green light to advertise. Let iHeart help you advertise around America 250. Call 844-844-iHeart today to get started.
Hello? I'm a Marine.
No matter how you served.
My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
No matter what you're going through.
I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job. I feel so stuck.
We are here for you. If you or a veteran in your life is experiencing thoughts of suicide, dial 988, then press 1 to reach the Veterans Crisis Line.
Experience, reputation, and trust matter. If you've been injured, opolaw.com.
Termites active? Call Pacific Coast Termite. No tenting, plus 10% off. Call 1-800-PACIFIC.
This is Jacob Emrani. When you need help after an accident, I'm here for you.
1-800-345-6789. Call Jacob.
KFI.
AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And we're live on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show to subscribe, become a member. That's youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. We're going to have Nathan Hochman on, the LA County DA, at 5 o'clock. He says in that massive sex abuse case that LA County settled, well, that was a stupid idea, it looks like. $4 billion to 11,000 people who said they got sexually abused when they were in juvenile custody. He says he thinks 80% of the claims are fake. 4 out of 5 claims are fake. Nathan Hochman's going to tell us about it coming up. This just in. Apparently, Gavin Newsom put out a new lie on social media, claiming that there is ID verification. There is signature verification. It's all over the election controversy. And according to Amy Reichart, who's an independent reporter in San Diego, no. Voters can place an X as a signature that is not verified, and the witness signature is not verified either. That's how the homeless nonprofits get away with having their employees submit thousands and thousands of ballots that have a homeless person's name on it, the address of the nonprofit. They don't have to ever sign it. Well, obviously, most of them never vote because you just put an X. You put an X, that's legal. You have a witness signature from the homeless employee, that's legal. None of it's verified. Newsom claims in a post that there is ID verification, there is signature verification. Lie. That's just in. Here's this from Katie Grimes, California Globe. California gets 81% of all federal funding for illegal aliens. 81%. Out of all 50 states in the country. $617 million in cash welfare went to households headed by illegal alien parents last year. These are 85,000 child-only households, but the parent or parents are illegal aliens. They give the money to the parents to spend on the kids. I'm sure it's spent on the children. 59,000 households, 70% of the total households in the country, 81% of the dollars. California, 617 million. Second state is New York at 47 million. Massachusetts, third at 27 million. And it drops off pretty sharply from there. 617 million, almost 60,000 households, 81% of the federal spending on illegal alien health care. We're going to see how long that lasts, because the big news today, and our whole 3 o'clock hour, most of it was on this, that the Trump administration is withdrawing all federal money from LAHSA, the failed, corrupt, crooked housing agency that the LA County and the city ran. The county pulled out of it some months ago because they saw what was coming. Now, Trump has the federal money pulled out of it, and Karen Bass is left squealing and squawking, claiming that she's against all this. This is going to hurt the homeless. She's full of it. She's completely full of it. She knows about all the fraud. One of her close friends, Valicia Adams Kellum, was running LAHSA and was caught sending $2 million to Valicia's husband, who ran a Santa Monica nonprofit. The federal government said the fraud is severe and pervasive. Again, listen to the 3 o'clock hour on the podcast. Here's another one. There's going to be an ongoing legal battle between the fired former fire chief, Kristen Crowley. Mayor Bass got rid of her when Crowley told the world the truth that Bass had defunded the fire department. Of course, Crowley did a lot wrong herself, but Bass got so pissed off at Crowley telling the truth that Crowley's now filing for wrongful dismissal. And the city council now has to defend the city with the lawsuit. And they authorized $500,000 of your tax money, $500,000, to hire Kobylt, Patch, Duffy, and Bass. Not Karen. Would it shock you if Karen Bass was the Bass in this law firm? But she's not. But it wouldn't shock me. Crowley said violations of the labor code, retaliation, in violation of the state constitution. And now they're going to hire private attorneys to defend the city. Of course, we employ lots and lots of attorneys in the city of Los Angeles. So why not blow more on the outside attorneys? They do that a lot. They must think that the city attorneys are really bad at their job, really no good, or this is some kind of political payoff, money laundering, I don't know what. Crowley, of course, got in trouble for telling everybody that she had warned Bass over and over and over again that we don't have enough money to run the LA Fire Department properly, which is true. It is funded, so we've had the same fire station levels that we had in the 1960s. But I tell you, the connection here to all these stories lead back to the same center problem. We blow billions of dollars on homeless. Much of it is stolen and wasted. Therefore, we don't have enough money for the police, not enough money for the fire, not enough money for the roads, the sidewalks, to pick up the garbage, to fix the street lights. It's all connected because the homeless industry is so big, so entrenched and immovable, and they emotionally manipulate people. Human beings are ridiculous creatures. People could be so emotionally manipulated and swayed into giving away money for just about anything. And it's especially shocking that politicians who have been totally discredited, and they use the media, which has also been totally discredited, and yet people are still falling for it. It's just fascinating. They make you feel bad for the vagrants in the streets when the 2/3 of the vagrants came from outside the city. They're drug addicts and mental patients. They got thrown out of their parents' homes. when we're supposed to take care of our brothers, people fall for it. Climate change, oh, we're all going to die. The earth is overheating. I'll ask you a question, Deborah, because this guy for the New York Times, this writer, Ezra Klein, real left-wing writer, he posted this the other day. He does a lot of public speaking and meets a lot of people with his appearances. And he said the number one question by far for years that he gets from people is, should I bring a child into the world because of climate change? Won't the child make climate change worse? And he swears this is the number one question. And some guy wrote online saying, I don't know what bubble you're in. I've never heard that question. I never have heard it. I have heard people talk about not wanting to bring a child into the world because of lots of different reasons, never climate change. The fear of climate change. Not only that the child would suffer, but the child will make it worse by existing. And I think these people shouldn't reproduce. I mean, it might be a good thing in the end.
It might.
You don't want to pass down those intelligence genetics. My wife and I used to like going to theater. And about 7-8 years ago, it became insufferable. And we went to the Geffen Theater in Westwood one night. And this is where the culture took a sharp turn. And the play was about this couple. And they're living together. And they're thinking about getting married. And they're having the normal struggles that couples have. But the real hang-up was over having a kid. Because one of the two was afraid that it was wrong to bring in a kid because of climate change. I sat through 2 hours of that crap.
I'm surprised you didn't walk out.
And I bet, when I in a situation like that, I get bizarrely fascinated. It's like, really? People do this? People write this? And they perform it? And people go and watch it? It's like, I couldn't believe the spectacle in front of me. And you think, oh, it's just a one-off. It's just, because it was a good play. Otherwise, it was funny and it was engaging and all. But the central theme was climate change. Earth is warming. It's irresponsible for me to bring a child into the world. They're going to be victimized by the climate. Then they're going to add to the climate and victimize other. And it turned out to be almost one of the biggest mental illnesses of the last decade. Again, people got emotionally manipulated by climate change. Next thing you know, if we pass high-speed rail, that's going to help the climate. Oh, okay. $230 billion later. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has suspended federal funding to the LA Homeless Services Authority, and the body of a 5-year-old girl swept away in Laguna Beach has been recovered. We will have more at the top of the hour. Going to the 5 next.
Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. It's a handshake, it's commission, and they are done. And you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Your business, though, runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risk of your insurance. So I'm telling you about SuperSure. So listen, if your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, the CFO, or the HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts, which translates your current policy into plain English, so you can see what's covered and what's not. Plus, a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know exactly what needs protecting. Go to supersure.com, one super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Supersure.com, supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and warm again tomorrow, 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Orderly Meds. From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Crash on the 5 in Pacoima.
That's headed northbound just after Terabella Street. It has the middle lane blocked overall. Very slow ride from about Penrose Street. And the southbound side of the 5 in Anaheim, once you get to Disneyland Drive, crash there has the left lane blocked. 3 cars involved. You'll see a heavy ride from about Brookhurst Street. And as you travel on the 15 northbound, heading into the Cajon Pass, just after the 215, slow crawl there until you reach the 138. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Summer's heating up, but your wallet doesn't have to. And this June, American Vision Windows is offering no interest, no payments for 2 years on new windows and doors. You pay nothing until 2028. New windows don't just help you beat the heat. They lock in comfort year-round, lower your energy bills, and give your home a stunning upgrade that your neighbors will notice. American Vision Windows is 100% employee-owned, which means every person on your project has a personal stake in getting it right. After 25 years and over 1 million windows installed, that accountability has made American Vision Windows the most trusted name in window replacement. And most jobs are done in just a day. You get beautiful new windows by the evening, 0 payments until 2028, and the offer ends June 30th. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see the website for details. Call AmericanVisionWindows.com. Go to AmericanVisionWindows.com. You call them at 888-771-2188. 888-771-2188.
Struggle with weight loss? OrderlyMeds.com/radio offers doctor-guided access to options like semaglutide and tirzepatide, often up to 50% less, delivered to your home. Visit OrderlyMeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary. Eligibility required. See site for details.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
It's the Marketer's Report. In this edition, Scott Hinchelwood, Director of Partner Support, Music and Audio Engagement for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, talks about the power of live events.
We've been working with iHeart now, going back to your beginning. And then you guys have we have over 60 iHeart station partners out there that really, and Bobby and Billy Greenwood and all the other, Angie Ward, all your other talents that are out there telling our story. And it really helps drive that St. Jude mission home and share our patients and share our mission and really kind of drive home what we do and why we are such a place to go for pediatric cancer.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to all the audiences, live events, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. And all guaranteed human. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away. All through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
iHeart's Yacht Rock Radio goes commercial-free every weekend. Smooth sailing with the greatest from the 70s and 80s. Just open the free iHeart app, search Yacht Rock, and start listening now.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Scary and Shannon show, there was a pilot up in Canada that was flying without something. It happened to be a license. We'll tell you about his story. It wasn't just one trip. It was 17 years. The Gary and Shannon show starts tomorrow at 9.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're on from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. 6 o'clock, you get the podcast, John Kobylt Show on demand for whatever you missed. 3 o'clock hour, we explain why the Trump administration is withdrawing all federal money from the LA Housing Authority. Severe fraud. Lots of money disappeared. They did an audit, and 3/4 of the money covered by this audit had evaporated. Yeah, and Karen Bass is squealing. You can hear more of that in the 3 o'clock hour. The Los Angeles Times had a story about where are the Spencer Pratt supporters going to go? Who are they going to vote for? And I was thinking, this really calls for secession, doesn't it? The west side of L.A. and the West Valley and the San Fernando Valley, because I'm looking at the color-coded maps, and Pratt's strength by far was the west side. And of course, they lost the Palisades, and they pay most of the tax money, and they get absolutely nothing for it. I mean, when you have your homes destroyed, and now Bass is mocking Pratt, telling him, oh, I thought you were going to leave. Of course he has to leave. He doesn't have a home. But how many insults and abuse and disrespect is the Palisades supposed to take? And all the rest of the West Side, whole West Side, and the West Valley too. How long do you think this is going to go on? They're paying the bills here. You want to be angry with them, scoff at them, burn their town down, dump homeless people all over the place? They got to secede. If I was in charge, maybe I'll pass out secession petitions.
I have a question.
What
if we vote for Mayor Bass, she gets reelected, and then we start a recall campaign?
That might happen.
I mean, it's the only logical choice because we're not voting for Nithya Raman.
Two-thirds of the city hates Bass. So if she somehow squeaks past Raman. And Pratt, just said all the right things. But in this story by the LA Times, they talked to a writer who used to work for the Times, Megan Down. And she still writes. She has a podcast. And she says, I know a lot of people who are disappointed. They're saying, okay, now what? What can we do? And it quotes political experts admitting that his candidacy tapped into Angelino's dissatisfaction with the Democratic establishment. This is what pisses me off so much. I've said this so many times, since when does not want drug-addicted bodies lying all over the street and all the defecation and all the needles on the sidewalks and in the parks, why'd that become a political issue? How is that possibly a political issue where there's a Republican-Democratic split? How could it be? I haven't understood this for 10 years. Everybody, I knew all my life, and I lived in a lot of places, everybody wanted clean streets, no drug addicts littering in the streets, no mental patients running around menacing. Listen to this, Dan Schnurr. He's a politics professor at USC and Berkeley. Pratt identified a previous invisible level of anger and frustration. Hey, Dan Schnurr, really, get out of the house once in a while. Climb out of whatever hole you're living in. Invisible level? Invisible level. I don't know. I live on that side of town. First of all, we drive through the Palisades a couple times a week. It is really visible. And all conversations lead to how angry people are on the West Side. But they got outvoted by the fake homeless ballots. It's like you lose your... Oh, remember the fire aid money? That disappeared. The second... the second collection of fire aid money that was supposed to come from Newsom, that disappeared. So 2 pots of money gone. Entire town gone. Their candidate cheated out of a spot in the runoff. Yeah, I'd love to secede. Schnurr said he forced the more conventional candidates to talk about issues in a way that would not have been the case. This is obvious, though. There's tons of money being stolen. There's 2,000 dead people on the streets. Wait, oh, yes, he brought up an issue in a way that nobody else. But not one dead person should be tolerated. Not one homeless person should be tolerated. Not $1 should be stolen. And then they have, let me just find one more quote from Megan Down. Because this really summed up the insanity here. Let me just get to it. During the course of the campaign, Down said she had numerous conversations with Angelenos who said, I can't associate with anybody who voted for Trump. I can't have them in my house. I can't have the conversation with them. I want nothing to do with them. Hysterical, mentally ill people who apparently have enough voting power to return to office. The two people, first of all, the one person who's more responsible for the fire than anyone else, and the second person who is second most responsible for all the homeless money being stolen and wasted. I can't associate with anybody who voted for Trump. I can't have them in my house. I can't have a conversation with them. I want nothing to do with them. We're doomed. These are crazy people. These are mentally ill, crazy people who've lost their minds. Can't live with you. Can't put up with you. You're ruining the city, not me. You are. Secession. West Side, West Valley secession. Deborah Mark is live. Oh, we got Nathan Hochman on about maybe 80% of the cases in the $4 billion sex abuse LA County lawsuit. 80% might be fake. Nathan Hochman, the DA, coming up next. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
On hold for now, I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has suspended federal funding to the LA Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA. The department has essentially cut off millions of dollars to the LA region. Officials say that this is in connection with allegations of fraud and widespread mismanagement. LA County DA Hochman is asking a judge to pause payments from the largest sexual abuse settlement in U.S. history.
Hochman wants the payouts, which were part of a $4 billion settlement, to stop for 6 months while his office investigates what he calls significant allegations of fraud. He says 4 out of 5 cases may be fraudulent. Hochman says his criminal investigation involves the plaintiffs, lawyers, and therapists behind the sexual abuse claims, many of which date back several decades. Several of the alleged victims say their claims have already stood up to rigorous vetting and want their money now. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
Hochman is going to be on with John after the news with more. Officials in Orange County say a man arrested over bank fraud used strong-arm tactics in a ruthless campaign of terror.
Mahendra Makajani was cuffed and pulled out of his mansion in Newport Beach for alleged bank fraud of $100 million in a real estate scheme. Court documents say Makajani was found liable last month for more than $1.3 billion in damages to a businessman in Laguna Beach. The court says he used threats and intimidation, including mobile billboards to allege corruption against business rivals and local politicians, and even used armed henchmen to seize hotels and a restaurant. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
The body of a 5-year-old girl swept away in Laguna Beach has been recovered.
The girl was with her mom and brother near Treasure Island Beach Tuesday evening when they began to struggle against powerful surf. Bystanders were able to pull out the mom and brother but couldn't save the girl. Laguna Beach authorities say her body was sighted 250 to 300 yards offshore at Christmas Cove, about a quarter mile north of where she was swept away. Her identity hasn't been released. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
The lead agent in the Palisades fire investigation has told a jury in L.A. arson defendant Jonathan Rinderknecht has a fascination with forest burning. Michael Montevidoni of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives says the man accused of starting the Lachman Fire that officials claim led to the Palisades fire used ChatGPT to make images of environmental destruction, showing an apparent hatred of the wealthy before the fire. LA City Councilwoman and candidate for LA Mayor Nithya Raman is reaching out to supporters of former candidate Spencer Pratt. Raman said in her first press conference since moving into November's runoff election with LA Mayor Bass that Pratt tapped into the frustration of many people in LA.
I think they're looking at a city that has failed on some of the most basic functions and is still asking us to trust the city on solving even more complicated things like homelessness, like our affordable housing crisis.
Raman says she wants people to expect more from the city, and she wants to deliver more for them. The man charged with killing a former Minnesota House Speaker and shooting another Democratic lawmaker in the Senate has changed his plea to federal charges. ABC's Faith Abube says it's part of Vance Bolter's deal with prosecutors to avoid the death penalty.
There was sobbing in the courtroom as both families listened to Bolter admit to the crimes, and the Hochmans who survived that attack saying in a statement, quote, "There's no justice for Mark and Melissa Hortman."
The U.S. attorney says the death penalty was only taken off the table after Bolter agreed to the longest possible prison sentence. President Trump says a peace deal with Iran could be signed in the next few days, possibly in Europe. ABC's Patrick Reevell says Trump also claims the Strait of Hormuz will officially open the moment a deal is signed, but it's not known if Iran agrees.
It's possible that what we're seeing here is all the same a good sign for diplomacy, because if both sides have managed to agree, that would, of course, be good news.
Trump has called off tonight's planned strikes against Iran. And after months of preparations and years of planning, the U.S., Canada, Mexico 2026 FIFA World Cup is underway. ABC's Christiane Cordero says there are events at all the host cities across North America, including L.A.
LA's a host city. It's hosting tomorrow, but the crowds are out today in large part to support Team Mexico. We know there's a huge Mexican-American population here in LA.
In Game 1 today in Mexico City, the home team defeated South Africa 2-0. We're checking out the 405 next.
If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage. They'll make you a cash offer, no need for repairs. They can close in days, and they buy with cash, and they might offer a $10,000 advance to help you move. Go read their reviews online. Call for a no-obligation offer. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-2747. sellersadvantage.com. Sing.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658. Providence Realty DRE number 0191522.
Southland weather from KFI, low clouds and fog again in the morning, then sunny, highs mid-70s to low 80s. Metro LA, mid-80s to low 90s in the valleys and the high desert, windy in the high desert, low to upper 70s for the beaches, low 80s inland OC, 90s and windy for the IE. Right now it's 71 in Dana Point, 78 in Anaheim, 82 in Diamond Bar, and it's 83 in Simi Valley. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supersure, supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 930, S&P 500 up 127, and NASDAQ up 640. Stall on the 405 in Van Nuys.
That's heading northbound just before Victory Boulevard. It has the left lane taken away. That's adding to the heavy ride from the 90. Southbound side, or actually South LA 105 eastbound. That's just before the 110. We have another stall. This one's in the right lane. You'll see traffic backed up to about the 405. And as you travel on the 5 northbound in Pacoima, right after Terabella Street, you'll see a crash there. 3 cars involved. The left lane's taken away. You'll see traffic pretty slow from about Penrose Street. Anaheim, the 5 southbound, that's right at Disneyland Drive, a crash. You'll see that taking up the left lane, slowing you down from about Brookhurst Street. Riverside, 215 southbound just before Central. There's a car fire. Middle lane's blocked off there. Your drive jams up as you approach Barton Road. And if you're on the 210 eastbound in San Bernardino, just before Waterman Avenue, there's a crash involving a motorcycle. Left lane's blocked off there. That's slowing you down from H Street. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Hey guys, it's Dasha here. I know everyone is super dialed into the World Cup right now, but let's take a little bit of a closer look. Human trafficking is real and is happening here. So get informed. Visit bluecampaign.gov/World Cup and help break the silence.
Just Food for Dogs, the #1 vet-recommended fresh dog food. Made right here in LA.
Visit LearCapital.com for your free gold investment kit. That's LearCapital.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And you can be there
for a weekend full of superstar performances. Capital One cardholders, pre-sale is live right now.
Your first access to iHeartRadio Music Festival tickets.
Plus the chance to add an access pass for an exclusive pre-concert event
with Weezer.
48 hours while they last. Get yours at iHeartRadio.com/Capital One.
Now, your chance to win $2,500. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Liberty. That's Liberty. Enter it now.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
If I AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6, after 6, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. It's been quite a jam-packed day. We'll talk more about all the big stories coming up. But first, I want to get Nathan Hochman on right away, kind enough to give us some of his time. District Attorney Nathan Hochman here in LA County. You may remember a few months ago, the county supervisors settled the largest sex abuse case in U.S. history, $4 billion payout to 11,000 claims of sex abuse, people who said they got abused in the county-run juvenile halls, foster homes, and a children's shelter. This goes back decades, some of these claims. They changed the statute of limitations law in the state. Now, Nathan Hochman says he believes 4 in 5 claims to be fraudulent, to be fake. Let's get Nathan Hochman on. Welcome. How are you?
Great to be on. Very well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, explain to us how you've come up with this preliminary analysis. That's a huge number. 80% of the claims fake. What are you seeing?
Here's how we came up with that, and here's why people should care about this. AB 218 was a piece of state legislation passed back in 2019, and it will do more to destroy the finances of LA County than anything you can think of. What happened is basically they decided to extend the statute of limitations for child sex abuse claims that occurred at any time in history. So when they did that between 2020 and 2024, as a starting point, over 5,000 claims came into LA County. And that, by the way, it came into LA County, it came into the LAUSD, it came into Santa Monica, it came into a variety of police agencies all throughout the state. But in LA County, you had over 5,000 claims that said that these individuals, and they were the litigants, suffered child sex abuse at the hands of pedophiles going back to the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, had never filed the claim, but now, years and years later, that they reopened the statute of limitations, are filing it then. For the legitimate sex abuse survivors, we want to go after those pedophiles, and we will if they're still alive and we still can bring the case. And they should, and it's been determined they should receive compensation. But for the fraudulent ones, and we looked at a variety of databases, some of which the county had in the civil procedure process, and some of which they didn't. And we've been able to determine there are fraud indicators in 81% of first the 5,000 claims that were filed. Then there was an additional 6,500 claims that were filed as part of the initial settlement of over $4 billion. Then another 6,000 claims have come in since then. And we look at these claims, we look at the various databases that we have access to, and we are seeing in over approximately 81% of these claims that there are fraud indicators. So the settlement actually was going to require the county to start paying everybody off this $4 billion plus. We've asked the court, and we're going to go in on Monday, to temporarily pause for 6 months the payment of any litigant in order for us to determine and finish our investigation to see which ones are fraudulent and which ones are not. And what you should also know is that $4 billion is a pot of money. So if, for instance, there's 11,000 people getting access to that pot of money, each one will obviously get less than if it turns out, let's say there's half or there's 20% that are legitimate. Those 20% legitimate claimants and survivors would then get access to the full $4 billion. So if we eliminate the fraudulent applicants, the true validly filed righteous child abuse sex survivors will actually get more money in the process.
Can you explain what the fraud indicators might be?
So again, we are going in that level of detail is part of the ongoing investigation. And we are looking at everyone involved that could be involved. That would be the original claimants, the people who filed the lawsuit. They often were recruited by individuals to file the lawsuit on behalf of law firms. We're looking at the recruiters. The law firms we are also looking at. The lawyers within the law firms who are involved with any fraudulent activity, we are looking at. To the extent that any medical professionals also participated in any fraudulent activity, we're looking at that as well. I don't want to go into any more detail as to the specifics of how we're going about looking at all these people.
No, I was just wondering what a red flag looks like. Like when you're going through all the databases, it's like, what is the red flag in general terms?
In very, very general terms, a red flag would be that a particular individual was not at the location that they said they were sexually abused. In its most general way of looking at it, that would be certainly a very, very red flag.
And none of this was vetted before they got on the payout list?
So as part of getting on the payout list, there was a process. But that process and the people vetting it didn't have access to many of the databases that the district attorney's office has access to. And so we are able to do a much more thorough vetting than the individuals who are tasked with vetting it on behalf of the county. And that's why we've asked the civil litigation to pause the giving out of the settlement payments so that we can determine which ones are fraudulent, which ones are not, going after the people who committed fraudulent conduct because it's criminal activity, and then making sure that the people who are validly entitled to this type of compensation, these are the child sex abuse survivors, get the full share that they're entitled to.
It just seems, I think, to the average person, it seems like this whole process has gone backwards. I mean, you're doing a great thing here, but why, before the supervisors approved the $4 billion, weren't all these cases vetted in a more stringent way? And you're saying they just didn't have access to information. It just seems like the system doesn't work. It's upside down.
I think it's a combination of the inability to access the information that the DA's office can access is number one. Number two, they're trying to deal with 11,000 lawsuits and not have 11,000 trials. So they were trying to figure out some type of settlement mechanism that would hopefully ferret out all the illegal and fraudulent lawsuits from the righteous ones. And the third aspect is that they didn't expect law firms. I mean, these are individuals in law firms that swear the oath to uphold the process. That these individuals might be willing to participate in fraudulent activity. So I think when you take all three things together, and then you can ask the County Board of Supervisors and their advisors why they did it. But these would be some of the factors, I believe, that probably led to the initial settlement.
Were you surprised that the initial number was that high, 81%? There's always a little bit of fraud in everything, a lot of fraud these days all over in California, but 81%, did that make you stop and go, whoa?
81% is a very, very significant number. And you're right. With certain situations, you probably expect a certain low level of fraudulent conduct that you hope to unearth as you go through a process. 81% looks like a whole number, a significant number of individuals who are trying to rip off the system. And we are going to, we've got the people power here and the investigators and lawyers and prosecutors that have been looking at this stuff night and day in order to deal with, at this point, 17,000 different lawsuits that have been filed and determine which ones are fraudulent and go after the fraudsters.
It's a huge job. Thank you for coming on, Nathan Hochman, and let's talk again as this progresses.
Absolutely. Nice to speak with you.
District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Holy moly. 81% fraud rate, he suspects. Started out with 11,000 cases. Now it's up to 17,000. These are people claiming they were sexually abused in juvenile halls, foster homes, children's shelters, LA County. Supervisor said, yeah, here's the $4 billion. Divvy it up. Hochman has gone through the cases and the databases, finds an 81% possible fraud rate. More coming up. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. LA Mayor Bass is talking about that decision by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to cut federal funding for LAHSA. President Trump says he has called off new military strikes on Iran because he thinks a peace deal is imminent. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. Back to the 10 next.
If you could go back and buy oil before the whole world depended on it, well, you'd do that, right? So what are you waiting for now? Silver powers AI and electric vehicles, the whole energy shift. And most people still haven't figured it out. And that's how this works. By the time everyone agrees, well, you're already too late. So don't be the guy saying, oh, I saw it coming. Get ahead of it. Go to the only place that I recommend, noblegoldinvestments.com. noblegoldinvestments.com. Mention my name, get a free silver coin with a qualified account. See, my name is worth something. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decision.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny tomorrow, high 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by Fiji Airways. From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Back to the 10 in Ontario.
That's heading westbound. Multiple cars involved. One overturned in lanes. That's in between Haven Avenue and Archbold. All lanes are closed off until further notice. Your drive's at a standstill from Etiwanda. You can use 4th Street as an alternate route. Seal Beach, 405 headed northbound at Seal Beach Boulevard. We have a stall that's taking up the right lane. That's slowing you down from about Valley View. And in South LA, 105 eastbound, just before the 110, there's a stall that has the right lane off limits. Overall, very slow ride from about the 405. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Fiji Airways early bird sale is happening now. Fly nonstop from LAX to Fiji from just $3.99 one way. Book now at FijiAirways.com. Conditions apply. Fiji Airways, where happiness takes flight. This report is sponsored by Orderly Meds, affordable GLP-1s. Struggle with weight loss? OrderlyMeds.com/radio offers doctor-guided access to options like semaglutide and tirzepatide, often up to 50% less, delivered to your home. Visit OrderlyMeds.com/radio. Individual results may vary. Eligibility required. See site for details.
The Loan Exchange is proud to introduce the Free Closer, a jumbo 30-year fixed loan up to $3 million. With no closing costs, you could save around $40,000 in fees like points and appraisals that many lenders charge on a $2 million loan. Today's 30-year free closer rate is 5.875% rate and APR. That makes refinancing simple. The only question is whether it lowers your payment without increasing your balance. And if rates drop again, you can do it again and save even more. Today's 30-year free closer rate is 5.875% rate and APR. If your mortgage rate is over 6%, it's a total no-brainer. Why pay to close a loan when you can exchange it for free at theloanexchange.com? NMLS 1637539. Loan subject to credit approval. See website for licensing information, loan terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. That's theloanexchange.com. Theloanexchange.com to exchange higher payments for lower ones.
I come to Morongo to win big, like Oscar R., who just won $535,000. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Bring your W2G from any casino on June 14th for a chance to win $25,000 cash.
Number 2.
Catch Living on a Prayer, playing the music of Bon Jovi, June 18th. And Classic Journey, playing the music of Journey, the 25th.
And the number 1 reason.
We're giving away 3 Corvette Stingrays, June 28th. You could drive off a winner.
Morongo. Good times.
Hey, it's Neil. Summer is heating up, but your wallet doesn't have to. New windows and doors don't have to cost you a thing until 2028. That's right. Book this June and pay nothing for 2 years with American Vision Windows. They've installed over 1 million windows across California and get most jobs done in just one day. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com or give them a call at 888-226-9908. Tell them Neil sent you. That's 888-226-9908. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Offer ends June 30th, 2026.
What kind of safeguards would you say are in place to ensure that there is no tampering of ballots?
Somebody should realize this is a fire that is being lit under you. Don't ignore it.
Gary and Shannon.
The availability of the amazing tech minds that we have in the Silicon Valley. Ask them to come in.
Tomorrow, 9 to noon on KFI AM 640.
How could we make sure that votes are verified, identification is verified? God forbid you ask for an ID.
I know.
But we instill confidence, not just for the people voting here in California, but for other states to look at us and go, that's the model.
More stimulating talk.
Joy is essential and it's also elusive. But now there's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Joy 101. It's a new podcast hosted by me, Hoda Kotb. If you're craving inspiration to maximize your joy, tune into these candid, uplifting, and moving on-air chats. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Joy 101, and listen now. Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb is presented by CBS.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
Team Mexico off to a winning start in the 2026 FIFA World Cup following a 2-0 win over South Africa in Mexico City. Julian Quiñones scored the first goal of the tournament. Team USA will take on Paraguay on Friday in LA in their World Cup opener. Canada faces Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. After 6, John Kobylt Show on demand. Listen to what you missed. And then we're on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And you could see us, our video broadcast live. And along the right side, we have a live chat. And my favorite comment in a while from somebody whose handle is Get, HIWKFI. I don't know what that means. We were talking about all the fraud in the homeless system, and the Trump administration is pulling all the federal money out of LAHSA, the LA Homeless Agency. And Bass is all upset. And we were talking about where the money went because it's all disappeared. Well, the solicitor said, check the Ghana banking system for a large cash deposit. Yeah. Maybe that's why she kept flying over to Ghana. Maybe that's why. Maybe that was part of I imagine the Ghana's banking system probably doesn't have quite the strict rules compared to America when it comes to detecting fraud. We just had Nathan Hochman on, speaking of fraud. Fraud. It's everywhere. And a lot of this is the Trump administration turning over the rocks, turning on the lights, and the cockroaches are fleeing everywhere. So they found that, like I said, they found billions of dollars of fraud in LAHSA. And now the LA County DA Nathan Hochman on a county level wants the judge to pause payouts for 6 months in a case where the supervisors agreed to pay out $4 billion to 11,000 claims of sex abuse. County-run juvenile halls, foster homes, a children's shelter. He says 81% they have flagged for possible fraud. 81%. So he wants the payments to be stopped for 6 months. One of the women who made a claim, Carlina Howard, she experienced abuse at McLaren Hall, which is a children's center, which apparently now is notorious. I guess they just hired all kinds of sex perverts, all kinds of predators. And she said, ever since these fraudulent claims came in the news, many victims are getting pressed by the county lawyers to come up with some kind of proof, some way of telling the story that's convincing. But they said there are no records. These cases go back decades. Carlina Howard said, plus, they were children at the time, so it's impossible. And she said real victims are going to be labeled fraudsters. Who was I supposed to tell? This is the staff. And they tell you, what they say to you is, if you tell anybody, you'll never see your family again. We're scared. We're children. We're in a facility that looks like a jail. And they all get sexually abused. So they think it's obviously way unfair that they're going to get their monies denied when it was impossible for them at the time to tell anybody about the sex abuse. Well, the government workers, they aren't stupid or aren't lazy. What are the rest of them, sexual predators? How does this go on for decades? You really can't hire normal people to do these jobs? You have to hire sex predators and then not care when they go around raping the kids? But if 80% of the cases are fraudulent, then yeah, you got to produce something that's going to convince the attorneys that this is not part of the fraud. I mean, look what happened when they had unlimited money available at the state unemployment office during COVID. What happened? $32 billion got looted. And over 80% of the claims came from overseas. So much of the looting, so much of the trouble has come from outsiders. All the people who stole money through the unemployment system, all these, look at all the outsiders that came to LA. 2/3 of the people on the street, the homeless, they're from out of the city or out of the state. And they're all attracted to California because it's so corrupt. It's so easy to steal the money because nobody in charge has cared. From Newsom to Bass, everybody, the 5 county supervisors. How do you sign off on a $4 billion payout to 11,000 people, and a few months later, it may be the 80% of the claims? Nathan Hochman doesn't want to get into the details on how this happens because he's got a lot of cases to investigate here and doesn't want to compromise things. All right, when we come back at the end of last hour, I said, seriously, the west side of LA, the West Valley of LA ought to secede. And then Eric offered the idea of a recall of either Bass or Raman, which I thought was just a funny joke. But it turns out online, serious people are discussing how to do this. You hit on something here. I'll tell you about it. Former guest on the show has posted something online, explained how it can be done. Let's cause mischief. Let's make a lot of trouble. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
LA Mayor Bass says she disagrees with the decision by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to cut federal funding for the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA. The department says the decision is based on allegations of fraud and widespread mismanagement. But Bass says while she has concerns about LAHSA and zero tolerance for mismanagement and negligence, cutting federal funds does nothing to house people. She wants HUD to work with the city to provide the necessary funding to reduce homelessness. The news is brought to you by Seller's Advantage. The status quo wins again at LA City Hall.
Despite some voter frustration and calls for change, nearly every incumbent on the ballot held onto their seat in last week's primary election. Mayor Karen Bass and Councilmember Nithya Raman advanced to the November runoff, while all city council members seeking re-election won. City Controller Kenneth Mejia also cruised to victory despite a heavily funded challenge. The lone exception was City Attorney Heidi Feldstein-Soto, who failed to make the runoff. Heather Rooker, KFI News.
Cops are looking for a couple of kids who took their e-bikes on a joyride through a Walmart in Orange County.
The OC Sheriff's Department says around 1:40 Sunday afternoon, they got a call about 2 young riders in the store in Lake Forest on e-bikes, weaving through aisles and nearly hitting customers.
Punks, get the out of here before you hurt someone.
That's audio from KTLA from a customer and his wife who the kids almost hit. They rode through the main door, rode out through the garden center, and were gone by the time cops arrived. Police across the state have been trying to curb dangerous e-bike riding. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
President Trump says he's called off new military strikes on Iran, claiming a breakthrough in negotiations to end the war. Trump says Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and Iran has agreed to it.
They will not only not have, they will not purchase, develop in any way, any shape, in any way, shape, or form a nuclear weapon. They will not have a nuclear weapon.
He says the peace deal could be signed in the next few days. Southland weather from KFI, low clouds and fog again tomorrow morning, then sunny, highs mid-70s to low 80s. Metro LA, mid-80s to low 90s in the valleys and the high desert. Windy in the high desert, low to upper 70s for the beaches, low 80s inland OC, 90s and windy for the IE. Right now, 76 in Laguna Woods and 80 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Stall on the 105 in South LA.
That's heading eastbound just before the 110. It's stuck in the right lane, adding to the busy ride from the 405. And if you're traveling on the 10 westbound in Ontario, that's right at Haven, we have a crash there. Multiple cars involved. The 3 right lanes are blocked off. You'll see some heavy traffic from Cherry Avenue. Seal Beach, 405 northbound, a stall right at Seal Beach Boulevard has been moved out of lanes. Traffic is recovering from about Bosa Chica Road. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
Habas Law is a big team of California lawyers,
and every one of them is skilled at forcing cold-hearted corporations
and insensitive insurance companies
to do the right thing.
And the right thing for them to do
is take complete responsibility for what happened to you.
They should do the right thing.
Because it's the right thing to do.
We've been making companies do the right thing for 40 years.
I'm Omar Habas.
And I'm Nicholas Habas.
When you've been injured, call Habas Law immediately.
We know all the tricks that the insurance company will try to pull.
Whatever you do, don't sign anything until we tell you to.
The law is on your side.
But the law can't help you if you don't have a lawyer.
We want to be your lawyers.
I'm Omar Habas.
And I'm Nicholas Habas.
We protect people from insurance companies who care more about their own bank accounts than they care about you.
Call Habas Law at 1-800-INJURED.
Your day is about to get a whole lot better.
HABBASlaw.com. Omar Habas and Nicholas Habas are California licensed attorneys with an office in Los Angeles. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Are you sitting on a fortune and don't even know it? That rare coin collection in the safe, that Cartier bracelet or vintage Tiffany lamp collecting dust, those pieces could be worth far more than you imagine. For more than 30 years, Tangible Investments has helped collectors and families across America unlock the hidden value in their rare coins, fine jewelry, art, and antiques. Founder Silda Genova has built a legendary reputation for paying top dollar, professionally, securely, and with absolute discretion. And that's why you'll see him featured on CNBC, the History and Discovery channels, and in the Wall Street Journal. And that's why Tangible Investments has bought billions in collectibles, and that's billions with a B. Gold and collectible markets are at historic highs. Whether you've inherited a collection, managing an estate, or simply want to know what your collection is worth, call 800-711-2800. That's 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800 for a free, no-obligation appraisal. Before you sell, call SIL. Tangible Investments.
Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Just call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Would you take 15 seconds to save 15% to freshen your breath? Go to Zellmans.com and use the code SAVE. That's ZELMINS.com. Use the code SAVE for fresh, clean breath for hours.
America's 250th anniversary is a big event. And if you're promoting a business, your advertising plan needs to be bigger than one channel. iHeart can help you bring your message to life across podcasts and broadcast, meaning your business will show up with scale and depth wherever your customers are listening. America 250 builds up into the July 4th weekend when listeners are traveling, celebrating, and tuned in. Let iHeart help you surround those moments. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Termites active? Call Pacific Coast Termite. No tenting, plus 10% off. Call 1-800-PACIFIC.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob 1-800-345-6789. Call Jacob.
Have a termite problem? You must act fast. Call Ecola at 1-800-332-BUGS.
Hi, I'm Duncan Newman.
And I'm Maria Newman.
When you choose Newman, you get more than new windows. You get ultimate peace of mind with our 7-point promise. We give you an exact arrival time. Your home is protected from start to finish, and so much more.
Right now, buy 2 Milgard vinyl windows and get 1 free. Plus, receive a bonus gift card with every Milgard product purchase.
And our lifetime installation guarantee. Ask about our fire recovery program. Call 8777-NEWMAN or NewmanWindows.com.
Restrictions apply. License number 570472. Offer ends June 30th, 2026.
KFI.
It's fun, but also factual.
The information, the way they give it, the format, it's all really good.
KFI is the most honest. The other stations, they do a lot of political correct nonsense.
These guys rock.
It's everyday consistency, current news.
I love KFI because they tell it like it is.
They take shots at everyone.
Oh, you like listening to boring stuff? No, listen to KFI 640. I love KFI. I love listening to them.
KFI, AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We keep rolling on here, on from 3 to 6, after 6 o'clock. John Kobylt Show on demand. You demand it. And listen to the first hour, where we go through how the Trump administration is withdrawing every federal dollar from those corrupt criminals, that cesspool known as LAHSA, Los Angeles Housing Services Authority, where Karen Bass's close friend, Valicia Adams Kellum, ran it. And a lot of the money evaporated. And now, because of the severe, pervasive fraud, they're not getting anything from the federal government. And everybody's squealing. That's the reason the homeless people are in the streets, and they're never given help, because there's a massive industry and everybody's making money. And to get the homeless off the street would end the gravy train. It is massive corruption, and Bass is in the middle of it. All right. We know what happened with Spencer Pratt, and people are wondering what to do. And I was suggesting secession for the West Side and the West Valley, because these people, and I'm one of them, we're paying all the bills. They burned down the place. They corruptly blocked Spencer Pratt with their homeless ballot scam. Enough is enough. Enough with this garbage. So I said, maybe we start a secession movement. Let's cause some trouble. I don't care. People go, oh, I don't know if you can do that. Oh, boy, that's a long shot. I don't care. It's time to make people miserable. And then Eric said last hour, well, how about recalling? I didn't know if that was possible. But it turns out, according to, I know one of our listeners, and he's been a guest on the show. His name is Human David Hamadi, doctor. He's an MD, an ophthalmologist, a PhD research scientist, a biotech entrepreneur, a medicine science author, and a commentator. I'm exhausted just reading this. I've had him on the show. He's extremely smart. And he posts things online. He's very politically active. And when things happen, he does the research and he posts the results of what he knows. So on X today, he wrote that the anger and frustration are justified about the Pratt election. The official vote says Spencer Pratt fell short of the general election due to the surge of mail-in ballots that shifted the results. But this fight is far from over. There is a direct legal path for him to become mayor. Just recall whoever wins in November. Bass and Raman are cut from the same ideological cloth. Public dissatisfaction with their records is already widespread. Here are the facts on timing and process. The new mayor is sworn in on December 14th. California law requires a 3-month waiting period before a recall can begin. So that opens the window in mid-March of 2027. You file the notice of intention. Circulation of petitions starts 28 days later. You have 120 days to get 330,000 valid signatures, 15% of registered voters. Once certified, the city council must schedule the special recall election between 88 and 125 days. On that ballot, the voters will decide whether to remove the mayor, and if so, select a replacement. Put Spencer's name on it. There'll be bipartisan momentum that has grown since the mail-in ballot issue surfaced. The recalled mayor can't run to replace herself. They're done. And the DSA communists won't dare run someone against their own people. You have a blank slate. An election without Bass or Raman, greater than 50% yes to the recall question. So you start with the recall question, yes or no. And once you recall, then either Bass or Raman are gone. He thinks Angelenos across party lines now see the pattern. Both potential incumbents remain deeply unpopular. This is how we correct the outcome. The energy and organization already exist. Unlike the political machine, we can fundraise nationally. Supporters from every corner of the country who want to see real change in LA can contribute directly. The path is clear. The support is building. We have the opportunity to set this right. I'm all for this. I'm all for recalling Bass or Raman. I'm sick of them making us miserable. Let's make them miserable. Let's do it just to do it. Nobody likes Nithya Raman. Most people haven't heard of her. The only reason she's in the runoff is because of the fake homeless ballots, which are legal. That's the killer. It's legal. You want to prove your fraud? I don't have to prove fraud here. There was no fraud. This was legal fraud, but that's cool in California. So let's undo this. They created a system where people, homeless, nonprofit employees on behalf of the homeless submit thousands of ballots that were blank. And they supplied the X required for the signature. They supplied their name as a witness. They supplied the vote for Nithya Raman. They supplied the vote to raise the sales tax by 0.5 cent, which looks like is going to happen. Screw them. Screw this system. Screw all the thieves and the corruption. Enough. F all of this. We should start a secession movement and should start this recall movement, which is, to crank this up is pretty easy. 330,000 valid signatures. I think everybody's fed up with this. I think most people hate Bass. Most people either don't know Raman or won't like her, believe me, once this headache is around for a few months. She's a defund the police girl. You want to defund the police, mayor? Or do you want the mayor who burned down the Palisades and further defunded the fire department after the fact? Spencer Pratt was 100% correct, and he ran a great campaign. And for what he did in less than 6 months was terrific in this environment. And now they've been exposed. They really are corrupt. They really do cheat. The system really is rigged. Thousands of fake homeless votes from the nonprofits who have such an industry. Of course they're going to do this. If you were involved in a multi-billion-dollar industry, wouldn't you do this to protect yourself? If the law allowed it, of course you would. Every industry would. Every industry would, if they were allowed to go to the homeless and get thousands of fake ballots to keep their industry from getting taxed or regulated or somehow harmed, and you could do it at the ballot box, and you could get thousands, tens of thousands of free votes by playing this game that the nonprofit employees are playing, you would do it. What they did was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant and legal. So let's screw them. Let's make them pay for this. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the homeless industry. They're pulling many millions of dollars of federal money just today. The county already pulled money out of LAHSA. Bass's best friend was running that corrupt agency. I've seen enough. I don't have to debate this anymore. I'm done with this homeless industry. Done with this whole movement. You've stolen enough of my money. And yeah, I think the West Side and the West Valley ought to secede. Yeah. Enough of this. Don't just roll over and take it. Make their lives miserable. A simultaneous secession movement and recall movement. Yeah. Screw with their miserable lives. They're awful people. They are awful people. And Bass, I tell you, the last straw was Bass mocking Pratt for not moving out of town yet. Her and that jackass Jimmy Kimmel. All right, Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. President Trump says a deal with Iran to end the war is very close. Bail has been denied to a guy accused of setting a fire in Ontario. We will have more at the top of the hour, heading over to the 60 next.
Lasting Smiles dental implants. This summer, it's time to transform your smile with the Lasting Smiles Summer Smile Special. You got missing, rotted, damaged, disgusting teeth? Get some dental implants. Want to look like a normal person again? You can get a free comprehensive dental exam, full 3D imaging, custom treatment plan, payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. Mention KFI or John and get this Summer Smile Special. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center, Odoo, the only business software you need. Sunny and warm again tomorrow, high 70s to the 90s. This report brought to you by The Habit. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Crash on the 60 in Montebello.
That's heading eastbound just before Garfield Avenue. It's taking up the second lane from the left. You'll see a heavy ride backed up on Soto Street. If you're on the 5 southbound in Anaheim, right at Disneyland Drive, looks like an earlier crash has been cleared out of the 2 middle lanes, but still seeing some slowing as you come away from the 91. And in Ontario, 10 westbound right at Haven, a crash there. So as the 3 right lanes off limits, your drive stacks up heavily as you approach Cherry. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Pedro Moreno.
The next 3 years, LA will welcome the world with major events unmatched by any destination. This moment is bigger than sports. It's about the impact on our communities, businesses, and people. With the help of the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission foundational partners, Amgen, Archer Aviation, Kaiser Permanente, LA Tourism, and Metro, we're investing in the LA community and inspiring civic pride. Together, let's show the world why we love LA. To learn more about the FIFA World Cup coming this June, visit LosAngelesFWC26.com.
The new $10 Gotta Have It box deal. Your choice of wrap, like the Chicken Caesar, the Chicken Avocado Ranch, or the Barbecue Chicken. Add a side plus a drink. The new $10 Gotta Have It box deal. Have it. Fresh like that. Limited time only. Price and participation varies. Tax extra. Terms at habitburger.com.
This report is sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem Blue Cross and Chicas Verdes are helping students throughout Los Angeles learn how to grow and prepare their own healthy food. They're joined by Sparks and will provide education, recipes, and knowledge to students and families. Learn more at anthem.com/ca/Sparks. Anthem Blue Cross is the trade name of Blue Cross of California.
Concerned about your future, your family, and your legacy? Join a free educational estate planning workshop on June 17th at 2 or 6 p.m. at the Palms Rancho Park Library, located near the 405 and the 10 in West LA. Learn how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and make sure your wishes are honored, all in this easy-to-understand session. Seating is limited. Reserve your spot today. Visit BeverlyDriveEvents.com to register for free. That's BeverlyDriveEvents.com.
Commercial contractors, if you're looking to build for the future with the best business management platform, you're looking for ServiceTitan. With over 200 commercial-specific features and 70-plus integrations, commercial contractors using ServiceTitan typically see a 16% higher annual growth in revenue and a 21% higher renewal rate. When you're looking to build your legacy on a strong foundation, look to ServiceTitan. Learn more at servicetitan.com/commercial. That's servicetitan.com/commercial. Results are not guaranteed and may vary.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, and the total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-764-6022. 800-764-6022. 800-764-6022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
In this edition of the Marketer's Report, Chris Epple, head of marketing for the Americas, Harman JBL, weighs in on the importance of audio.
It's been amazing over the last couple of years to see what's happened with audio. We've doubled our investment in the last 2 years in the audio space. We find it to be highly critical to our business.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live conversations, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, the FIFA World Cup is here. And why does the U.S. even participate? We've never had a world-class men's soccer team, or a star for that matter, but there's a good reason why. Because we suck. That's why. And that's coming up tomorrow morning after 7 on the next Bill Handel Show.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Just found out that Mark Thompson is in for Tim Conway. And Mark will be on in just a few minutes. Mark Thompson filling in for Conway. And last call for the Moist line, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. You better be good if you call in. I imagine there's a lot of competition. Or use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. Yesterday, around this time, we were talking about the Palisades arsonist. We had Roger Bailey on, who's the attorney for a lot of the Palisades residents, victims of the fire. And he had a curiosity, and maybe he can use something that comes up in the trial for that civil case. This is about Jonathan Rinderknecht, the 30-year-old. And he's charged with starting the original fire in the early morning hours of January 1st, which the LA Fire Department didn't put out entirely. Well, the flames were gone, but it was still smoldering. And then the idiots in the California Parks Department got in the way. You know the whole story. Winds blew, Bass went to Ghana. It kicked up the fire, and Palisades became hell. But they're charging him for the whole mess, saying, hey, it's the same fire. That the Lachman Fire on January 1st is the same as the Palisades Fire on January 7th. And in the process, they've discovered that Jonathan Rinderknecht, if you believe these stories, is a complete, utter psychopathic lunatic. Federal agent testified, ATF guy, that Rinderknecht, who is an Uber driver, in fact, he was driving Uber the night he started the fire, according to the feds, also worked for DoorDash. And he had to bug up his rear end about DoorDash because he searched for the address of the DoorDash CEO. He wanted to murder him. Rinderknecht was fixated on Luigi Mangione, the killer of the healthcare executive. And he had also suggested that the fire was started because he resented the rich. That's what prosecutors are saying. So he's a Luigi Mangione fan, celebrating the assassination of that healthcare executive. He resented the rich. The Palisades has a fair number of rich people. So today, the ATF special agent, Michael Montevidone, said that Rinderknecht had asked ChatGPT for the address of the DoorDash co-founder and CEO, Tony Zhu, XU, because he was going to kill him. Rinderknecht asked ChatGPT if Zhu had children and surveillance cameras at his home. Would ChatGPT know this stuff? I doubt it, but who the hell knows? Rinderknecht, again, used to work with DoorDash. He was always searching for free Luigi Mangione websites and sites that talked about taking down all the billionaires. And they spoke with some of the Uber passengers. Montevidone did this himself. And they talked about all the crazy stuff that Rinderknecht would say while driving. Talked about vigilantism, anti-capitalism, hated Donald Trump. Well, of course. Macy Miller was one of the passengers and said, I told my friend Sam right when we got out, I was like, he's a psychopath. I just know it. He's a serial killer or something. She had such a bad feeling after the ride. And, of course, Render Connect a few hours later went and started the original fire. They've got photos, videos, cell data, ChatGPT messages saying Render Connect was trying to deceive authorities throughout the night. Render Connect talked to a dispatcher because he kept calling 911 and said, are you at fault? He asked the dispatcher, are you at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes? And then he asked it of ChatGPT. He's psychotic and he's incredibly stupid. Montevidoni, the ATF agent, said he thought Render Connect was trying to create an alternative reason why the fire was started and have a record to show it at a later date. All right, Mark Thompson's coming in next. Think about it tonight. Recall Bass or Raman. We could start the recall 3 months after they take office. And let's talk about West Side and West Valley seceding, or at least parts of it. I think the Palisades people would be on board for some secession action. How about it? Let's make their lives miserable for what they're doing. All right, we got Michael Crozier coming up with the news. Thompson in for Conway next. See you tomorrow. And Crozier is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.